And then she said, "You're not a very humble man, are you?" And he said, "Well, actually, I'm the most humble. I'm probably more humble than you'd imagine. I'm very humble." And of course, he's bragged about how humble he is. He's a monster, and someone should probably get rid of him in some way. I'm not suggesting they do it violently, but at least just lock him in a cupboard or something. Because, dear God, this is a THX presentation. You are listening to Big Damn Cast. I am George Lucas's neckbeard.
And I'm wondering when we can stop this bullshit.
Never! Not until the 4 keys to Doomsday have been found.
The 7 keys to Doomsday.
7 keys to Doomsday are the keys of Marinus. What's the 4 ones? The 4 to Doomsday is what I'm thinking of. 4 to Doomsday, yeah. There we are. And wasn't one of the stage shows was like the keys of something, wasn't
7
it?
keys to...
Oh my god, did Doctor Who just reuse a bunch of title concepts?
I think it's 7 keys to Doomsday.
I think we need to have a word with the past.
There was also Doctor Who, The Ultimate Adventure.
Yeah, there was.
Starring the famous David Banks Doctor, where John Pertwee wasn't in it.
Was David Banks playing the alternate 4th Doctor? He had like a different costume, didn't he?
No, it might have been when Colin Baker was doing it, actually. No, it was when Colin Baker was doing it, because it was when David Banks was also the cyber leader.
Yes.
Because he was the cyber leader and the understudy Doctor.
Yes. Oh god. And Colin had a beard. Or sort of beard.
Yes.
I don't know if he had it for the production, but it was around that time. It was in the year where he wasn't, where the show wasn't on and stuff. Imagine if that happened now. Like if they just like went, we're going to do like the touring, the symphonies or something like that, and Peter Capaldi will be in it as the Doctor. You'd be like, oh shit, that's actually quite impressive. Until you're like, wait, no, I want this era to be over.
Yeah.
Jodie, do you want to give us an early preview? Like, come and join. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that shit. Let's talk about more exciting shit. Yeah, we got some trailers to talk about. We're going to delve into the world of porgs. We're going to merge some monsters together.
Meet my porg.
And we're going to, my man, like a simulation postman. We're also going to dive deep into the future, the near future, in an alternate timeline.
And the not so near future.
Yeah, of
the slightly more distant
of
future.
the years 20. Was the first one in 2020?
2019.
2019. So the year 2019 and the year 2049 with Blade Runner. We're also going to touch on how Rick and Morty fans are a horrible bunch of people, and we say that as 2 of them.
Yes.
So that'll be fun. Sort of consider that a part 2 to our discussion last week about geek culture being on the way out. Because we brought up briefly about how maybe it's going to kill itself because of toxicity. There was some big proof of that this week, and we'll get into that when we go to Rick and Morty Corner later. And then your emails and shit.
Yeah, so there's a definite theme going on of despicable bunches of people this week.
Yeah, so let's kick off with one, shall we?
Let's
do it. They're meant to be heroes. Sort of zeros. Shall we start with Justice League?
Let's start with the Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League's third trailer?
Fuck knows.
Let's call it the Superman trailer.
How many trailers, how many Justice League trailers have there been? Answers on a postcard. You'll get a Blue Peter badge.
It feels like this movie's been coming out forever.
Oh my god.
It's so strange. Wonder Woman arrived in the post the other day. I got the Wonder Woman Blu-ray. It arrived in the post, and do you know what was on the front?
What?
A sticker that said, witness the wonder before you see Justice League. I was like, great, you've soured this Blu-ray now.
Yeah. Now I'm less anxious to see this.
Like, I am not fucked, but don't sell me Justice League with your better movie about Wonder Woman.
Don't Justice League on my head and tell me it's Wonder Woman in.
I've heard they did a lot more Wonder Woman centric stuff in the reshoots.
That would
for Justice League,
because she's turning into the best thing about this whole endeavour.
But don't you feel like they've cottoned onto the gimmick a bit? In this trailer, there's that shot where she like smacks some parody and she lands, and then she smirks. And Gal Gadot looks like she's having a blast, and it's like a really like dashing smile. But it's like, well, she's done that before. The only reason you put that in there is so we go, and she's doing it again! Yay! Are you going to wear out the things that we enjoy? I'm wondering whether...
Yes.
I'm not expecting to go into this movie and come out going, oh my god, Wonder Woman was amazing. I'm expecting to come out of this going, yeah, it was cool to see more Wonder Woman, but I'm going to wait for Wonder Woman 2 before I enjoy the character properly again. To be
100% honest, I'm not expecting to come out of this movie.
Oh my
like,
god!
I think it might batter me into oblivion.
You're gonna recoil in your chair so much you become the chair.
Like, I'm so torn because some bits of the trailer look really encouraging, and then some bits of it just make me want to.
There was a genuine sense. There's a genuine sense of fun in several bits of this trailer that made me go, "Okay, I'm a little bit more optimistic that I'm not going to hate watching this."
But for every one of them, there was two.
Yes,
my man.
Oh, jeez, what is Aquaman? I love how they were like, okay, they didn't just like Aquaman's going to be in it. Everyone made the obvious jokes of like, oh, the guy who talks to fish out, and we're there going like, no, Aquaman's cool. They'll don't worry, like. All you jokers are going to go, oh shit, this is what Aquaman can do. And instead what they've done is they've just found a different way to make him shit.
Well, it's because the thing
they've made him surfer dude, stoner guy.
It's difficult to say it because all this is out of context.
Yeah.
But from what we saw of from the very brief moment we saw of him in Batman vs Superman to the early Justice League trailers to the current stuff, it looks like a completely different character.
Yeah, it's sort of, who's this mystical Khal Drago / Ronan from Stargate Atlantis looking dude?
And he's kind of...
Not that Jason Momoa's been typecast,
he's kind of grumpy and taciturn, but now he's all... Yeah, I'm cool. I'm a cool guy. I'm a cool guy who says cool things, and hello, fellow teenagers.
In a Smogcast from like 4 years ago, Scott Mosier joked about Aquaman being like, you do him as a surfer dude, and that's how you get away with him. And they're joking about him like getting stoned. He'd be like, "You ever used a blowfish?" And all this stuff.
Wasn't this movie in production 4 years? Wasn't this movie due to come out 4 years ago?
But it's like they joked about that. And it was a really funny idea. Do you know what I mean? A guy who just like shags fish and gets high with fish, and because they say like all these people are lined up on the beach and like fish with human faces going, "Father, why have you forsaken us?
Oh, no.
Kill me, Arthur Curry." And all this stuff. And this is funny. And now this trailer's come out, and I'm like, oh my god, that's what they're doing. Jason Momoa looks like he's having a blast. And I can't fault him for that. You can feel that infectious enjoyment in the moments he's delivering. But then you think back to what you've just watched and go, oh, is this what they're doing?
To be honest though, it only seems jarring because it seemed like they were going for something else completely different.
Yeah.
And it might work in the movie, I don't know. I'm alright with a more upbeat sort of cool Aquaman. It's just so much of this movie has come out, and so much of this movie has been inconsistent within itself, within the small amount of it that's come out.
Yeah. God. The colour palette seems to have been like, we're in the final stages of the edit now. The movie looks like it has filters over it, but they've taken the grey, beigey filters from Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, and they've gone, right, for every grey surface, let's have like a bright orange surface. For every like black corner, let's have a flash of red. And it does look like they've got a bit of a Defenders thing going on. Like everyone sort of has a colour. Like Flash is red, Aquaman's green, Cyborg's like metallic silver, Wonder Woman's the sort of the red gold kind of look. Batman's just block grey, pretty much. And Superman will be, blue and red and stuff. But it's like...
But Superman's in this movie!
Christ alive. Do you know, it's the fact that it opens with like...
But wait.
I'll take
Superman's
that as...
dead!
I'll take that as...
Superman's dead!
Well, he says like, I'll take it as a yes.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? And it cuts back to her spreading ashes and she's wearing an engagement ring. Now, forgive me if I'm misremembering. I only saw Batman v Superman once in the cinema.
I've seen it twice.
Did she have an engagement ring? Was that a thing?
Yeah.
Did she find it, like, in his stuff?
I think she found it. Yeah.
Or did he give it to her just before he flew away to fight Doomsday or something?
I think she found it. If I recall correctly.
So they're hoping you remember that when you watch this trailer. Because I was like, wait, she's having a dream where he's in a field going, I'll take that as a yes,
and
Miss Lane.
Henry Cavill smiled. Oh my God. And his face did not crack like ancient plaster.
The thing is, when I think of Henry Cavill's Superman, I remember the Ice Bucket Challenge video from early in the BVS production.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's how long ago BVS started principal photography. It was during the time of the Ice Bucket Challenge. Yeah. But like that one with him and Amy Adams sat there and they get Ice Bucket, and he's like laughing. He's like, oh, because he's obviously in a freaking skin tight rubber and lycra suit. And
he wasn't even in costume. That's just what he wears around the house.
But he's like smiling and be like, oh, and I always think, oh my god, can we have that Superman, please?
Yeah.
Can we have that guy doing
Please.
the Ice Bucket Challenge and having fun? That'd be great. So yeah, I mean, I still don't think this is going to be a good movie. I don't think any amount of Joss Whedon reshoots can salvage the lack of joy that Snyder was clearly going to bring us until even he was told to tweak it.
It might be okay, though.
But it might be an entertaining... Yeah, like... Oh, God, how do I put this? Man of Steel is fine. I just don't like it. It's fine. It's not great.
Half of it's fine.
It's a 2.5-star movie if you're looking at it objectively in terms of what it does.
Yeah.
It's a 2.5-star movie. It's a 5 out of 10. It's a middling film. Batman v Superman to me is like a 1 out of 10. It's abysmal. It's just dour and misses the point of its core concept and has no fun with its weird, imaginary, wacky characters that it has access to.
It's nonsensical and barely coherent.
Suicide Squad is slightly better than BVS because there is some stuff in there where you go, oh, that was fun, that was cool, but it's a piece of shit. Like, it's a terrible movie. You at least get those moments where you go like, that was nice.
Like, although
that was fun.
Although it does have a traditionally structured and coherent plot,
yeah,
it's not a very good one.
Yes. It's like, that's where we stand. And then Wonder Woman's like a comfortable 7, 8 out of 10.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah, it's
really
it's enjoyable. Good. It's not a groundbreaking piece of cinema, but it is culturally significant.
Yeah.
Because, mostly because it was a decent flick.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling this is going to sit somewhere in like the Man of Steel kind of thing. But only because it's a terrible movie that has some shining things to it.
I'm hoping it's going to be better than Man of Steel.
Me too. I'd like to come out of this and go, oh my god, I have 2 movies in the DCEU that I like.
I'd love to do that.
That'd be great, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I'd love to come out of this movie caring about Cyborg.
Well, forget Cyborg. There are better robots in cinema.
What?
Pacific Rim Uprising, motherfucker. Got a trailer. New York Comic Con.
Are they robots?
The Jaegers are... Yes. Except they're piloted. They're suits. But there's artificial intelligence. GLaDOS is in it! GLaDOS' voice is part of it!
Giant mecha.
They're iPhones.
Yes, they are iPhones.
And they've got a Siri that sounds like an evil computer.
iPhones with rocket launchers!
So, Pacific Rim Uprising trailer. I watched this for the first time just before we started recording. And you, just before we went into it, you said it basically spills the whole film. And I was okay, let's see what you mean. Yes.
Yeah,
Christ alive, you were right. It's just... It's a Power Rangers episode.
Yeah.
And you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah, okay. It looks stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it being stupid.
I loved Pacific Rim because it was the Godzilla / Power Rangers movie I'd always wanted to see.
Yeah.
But made with that Guillermo del Toro-esque flair. This definitely doesn't look like a Guillermo del Toro movie because obviously it isn't. He's exec producer, I think.
I don't think he's that involved with it. Like,
no, I think it's like marquee style. Yeah. Like he's overseeing some and gone, oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Hey, here's some ideas I had for the first one we didn't use. Do you want to work these in? Cool. You guys go nuts. I'll give final approval. Like, it seems like that's basically his thing. But at the same time, it's still kind of. It looks like it's retaining a sense of fun. The first movie had some of that, but it was a bit more serious. It was like, oh shit, like the world's going to end. We have to do something about this.
I'm definitely willing to forgive some stupid if something is fun.
Yeah. I'm guessing John Boyega's playing Idris Elba's son, Idris Elba's like nephew or something like that. It's his son
because he's got the same name on his jacket.
He's got the same name, but he's also got like a pube version of the mustache. Which is so weird.
But it's also weird because
got a whole pube mustache. It's like a knot. It's facial hair, but with emphasis on 5 o'clock shadow, but with emphasis on the mustache.
John Boyega's not a child. Like, he's an adult. He can grow a beard.
Yeah, but it almost looks like he's a young kid cosplaying Idris Elba's character because it's like he's not quite got the tash.
Maybe that's what his character arc is. Maybe he's like, I'm trying to look like my daddy.
I want to look like my dad because he had a cool mustache.
I don't know why I made him American. He's not American at all. He's definitely British in this,
which is nice. Yeah. It's cool to hear his actual voice again.
British John Boyega.
He's one of the producers, isn't he? It's like his company developed it. It's like, that is... I mean, the guy's smart. Like,
that's how you reinvest that Star Wars money.
But exactly, like, get some good gigs, does well, proves himself. I mean, he's a damn fine actor, but, like, get some good gigs, proves himself, and then goes, right, production company, starting it, and we're going to work on this franchise that there is a demand for more. I say franchise, it's a franchise now. But it's like, there's a demand for more. We're going to do it. Hey, Guillermo, do you mind if we make a sequel? Oh, absolutely, I'll go for it. Oh, thanks, Guillermo. You, what is it?
Everyone's favourite. Thank you, everyone's favourite Krampus.
And then off they go and they make it. And, like, I mean, that's a smart decision. Like, whatever happens in John Boyega's acting career from this point on, dude is now a producer, so he's going to do alright. I mean, people like Hugh Jackman and that do this as well. They just got production companies. It's like, good on them. Brad Pitt, like, is one of the biggest ones, isn't he? So, bless you, Bradley Pitt.
Producers are douchebags in Hollywood.
No, he's actually, turns out he's one of the less douchebaggy people.
Recently. Oh, yes.
Amidst all this shit this week, it turns out he's actually stepped in and kicked off with some of the villains at some point.
Powerful men in Hollywood are absolute fucking scumbags.
And powerful
men. Film at 11.
And powerful men in freaking Hollywood examining YouTube media as well,
yeah.
apparently. But yeah, don't worry. The only people sort of in a position of evil power here is just me and Matt in a chess game. Nothing sordid or horrible. Just we look at each other and caress each other's faces occasionally. Do you know what? It's completely consensual. Misses the point. As is this discussion. Because Pacific Rim 2 looks like a load of fun. Fucking hell. That's Wizard's chess. I'll tell you this for now, though. More Burn Gorman, and they ain't afraid to show it.
And more Charlie Day.
Yeah, of course it was Charlie Day, wasn't it? Yeah. But I was struck by like how much... Actually, no, you mentioned it, yeah. I was struck by how much the two of them are in it.
And more of whatever the lass's name is in the first one. The Japanese lass's name I cannot pronounce.
What's her face?
Rinko... I want to say it's Rinko...
Ujimi Flip. Ujimi Flip. Diddly Flop.
Let me look her name up, because it's a tricky one to pronounce, but I'm going to try it.
But like, she's there too, but... I wonder if Ron Perlman's going to show up. Because like, post-credits... Spoiler alert for Pacific Rim. Post-credits for the first one, he cuts himself out of the thing, doesn't he?
Rinko Kikuchi.
What a great name!
Mm-hmm.
Rinko Kikuchi.
Yeah.
There she is, Rinko Kikuchi. I'm glad that they're not completely sidelining like some of the characters in the first one then and just starting afresh. It makes sense to like blend everyone in. But that's what I'm saying. I wonder if Ron Perlman will show up. Because again, post credits, he cut himself out of the stomach of the thing, didn't he?
He doesn't seem to be listed on IMDb.
Uncredited cameo.
But I hope he's in it. Because
looks like a lot of fun. Looks like a pretty simple popcorn flick. We'll have a laugh. Robots, monsters. Oh my.
The robots, the monsters.
Oh, robots and monsters. That sounds like another franchise. It's a tenuous link. Star Wars. The Last Jedi. The last trailer for The Last Jedi is now out.
Which Rian Johnson put a warning out on Twitter saying, if you want to go into this movie completely clean, do not watch this trailer.
So naturally we watched the trailer.
Yeah.
And I can see what he meant. There is a bit more of a specific plot being suggested now. Like, in the previous trailers, it's been more, we know that Rey's going to train with Luke, and we know that Kylo's looking for revenge, and that's kind of it for specifics. This trailer does sort of suggest that Luke is a reluctant trainer, Rey is a freak of nature, there has only been one like her before, namely Kylo. Kylo Ren's looking for answers and possibly kinship. And it's like, wait, hang on. This isn't going to be as like straightforward and good guy versus bad guy this time, is it? I don't know. That's the feeling I'm getting. Sorry, we're slightly overwhelmed, but it started pissing it down while we're recording in a way where the outside world looks like some kind of horrible hybrid twixt Silent Hill and a rainforest.
Looks like Blade Runner 2049 outside.
A little bit, doesn't it? But like the bit in the trailer where like Luke's just like, this has happened once before, and you suddenly go, oh shit, that's why she's OP in the first movie, because it's. We always defended that because we were like, I think we were both in the same boat with that. It was like, bless you.
She's just a Mary Sue, Chris.
Well, no, but like the Force does work mysteriously, and if it's willing these people to be like this, then it would. Like, because you get away from the midichlorian bullshit and go into the mysticism. You get the sense in the first movie that Rey isn't in charge of her powers, but it's like she's being guided. Like she can feel like, you know, it's sort of summed up in that moment where she's locked sabers with Kylo at the end of the first one, and she sort of takes that moment, she like breathes and she steadies herself, and then she forces back, and you go like, okay, she's feeling this thing inside her and she's tapping into it. But yeah, she was quite OP. Turns out that was the plan, or you know, they found a way to work it in, because she and Kylo are force-powered freaks of nature.
Sorry, I've just been distracted by a headline that came up on my phone.
Oh god, is it about us?
Mark Ruffalo live streams Thor Ragnarok by accident.
What?
Hulk actor Mark Ruffalo inadvertently live streamed a portion of audio from Thor Ragnarok during Monday night's red carpet premiere, according to Hollywood Reporter. He was live streaming a portion of the red carpet for fans over Instagram. that reportedly left the live stream running during the actual screening after pocketing his phone.
Oh my god, so you can hear the audio, that's amazing! Do you know what? If that was done on purpose or by accident, either way, he won't get in trouble. Because that is a really fun bit of viral marketing. It's like people would have heard like a good hour of the movie or something, but they won't see it, so there's still something you got to go
It's
see.
unclear if Ruffalo stopped the stream himself or if it just ended.
Like his phone cut out or something.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Oh
Sorry,
my God.
yes.
No, sorry, that was worth a little detour for. That's a really cool bit of news. Oh, poor Mark Ruffalo / clever Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, so it seems like Kylo and Rey are in the same basket.
Yeah.
And Luke is genuinely terrified to train her. Not because he's like, no, I can't do this. I'm past this. It's too old. It's like, no, you're the same as that kid who fucked everything up and killed the other trainees.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be doing this. We talked about this on, yesterday, where I said, like, when Luke spoke in the trailer, I forgot it was Mark Hamill. I was like, oh my god, that's Luke. Like, that's Luke. I can hear Luke Skywalker.
Old Luke Skywalker.
But he's got that softness in his delivery that sort of is more akin to how he sounded in Star Wars films. So that was kind of fun. There's a weird point in the trailer that I'm not sure about.
Which is?
Where it looks like Kylo in his TIE bomber is about to take a shot that's going to... The way it's edited in the trailer, it looks like he's going to wipe out, like, the Resistance's...
It looks like he's targeting his mother.
Yeah. And I'm like, that is a massive fucking spoiler to put in the trailer if that is exactly what's happening there. And is that how they've got around Carrie Fisher not being there to tell
really
part 3?
Because
from what we could tell from the way they were addressing the production side of things, after, a respectful amount of time had passed after she passed away, there was this suggestion that, she was fully intending to be in the third one. So it's like, have they had to reshape this one? Are they preparing us to lose Leia?
I would imagine that there's more to that particular scene than meets the eye.
Yeah, I hope so, because otherwise it's very on the nose to put that in there. I also kind of hope that they don't compromise the story too much to explain her absence from the next one. Because you could easily just set the two films sometime apart, and do you know what I mean? Things could transpire. I don't know.
Yeah,
you kind of want to give Leia a big send-off if she's going to leave the story, but at the same time, you don't want to have to bastardize a send-off from pre-existing stuff. It's a tough place, so I'm interested to see where they go, but I hope it's not as on the nose as the trailer suggests. Let's talk about everybody's new favourite / new least favourite character. That Porg on the dashboard in the Millennium Falcon.
Good. So good.
That was when a police siren went off at the same moment. I mentioned the Porg, and I thought it was a Porg roaring. That moment is adorable.
It's brilliant.
Chewie gives a little roar, Porg gives a little roar. Kids everywhere, their hearts melt. Parents suddenly head to the Argos catalogue and immediately order a Porg for Christmas.
You can already buy Porg stuff.
You can. When we went on Force Friday, we were looking around the stores and there were Porgs and we were like, okay, that's kind of cool, but
you can buy
don't get it. Like, I have no urge to buy these because I don't know what they are other than little animals. And now we've seen one Raw and I'm like, yeah, I want one.
They're cute.
I want a Porg, man.
They're cute.
I want a Porg up in his egg. You know the jealous girlfriend meme?
Oh, yeah.
You know, the guy looking around and there's one doing the rounds at the minute of the guy turning around. There's a Porg in the foreground. His girlfriend's Jar Jar Binks. It's like, not sure what your thought process was here, guys, but fair enough. Fair dues.
I don't think anybody likes Jar Jar as much as people like. I'm on board with Porgs.
Unless it's more from the angle of like, oh, something new for me to complain about.
More Porgs,
Morgs.
Morgs. Morgs for me!
Sorry!
Right, that's trailers. We've talked about trailers.
If we're talking about trailers, let's talk about caravans. I think statics are probably the best if you think.
Caravans of a length longer than 15 meters should not be towed by a car with a traction of less than 20 brake. I don't know, I'm making numbers up.
I thought you were just reciting theory then. I was like, wait, what?
Christopher, we saw Blade Runner 2049.
We did?
Yesterday.
Yes, we did.
As of this recording.
Yes, we did. These are truths.
Before we saw Blade Runner 2049, had you seen Blade Runner, the first one?
Is that the original title?
That's the original title.
If you're looking for the original cut, is it Blade Runner, the first one?
The first one.
Here's a thing for you.
I'm getting ill on the podcast as we go.
Blade Runner is something that you sort of, I think everybody knows it to a degree through cultural osmosis. It's one of those movies like Psycho that you just sort of, eventually you assume you've seen it because you know so much about it, and you've absorbed so much of the things that are influenced by it. So
it is colossally influential. I know people who've gone back and seen it and thought of it as derivative because so much of it has been copied by stuff that's come since.
I thought I'd seen Blade Runner until about 2 years ago when I realised I hadn't actually watched it. So I rectified that. We bought the final cut, so what is now known as the version if you're going off Ridley Scott's preference, and apparently the version to have watched prior to seeing this one.
I think most people's preference as well, because for people it'll either come down to being the director's cut or the final cut.
The final cut's from the 2000s, isn't it? It's
final cut came out in 2000 and...
a year, because the Blu-ray came out around then. And I remember it was the last. They did a box set. You can get a crate version as well, which had every cut.
The final cut was done for the Blade Runner Blu-ray release.
Yeah.
So whenever the
and then the DVD version came out as well and stuff. But I finally watched it. The thing is, Blade Runner to me, growing up, wasn't the film. It was references to the film. And the point-and-click adventure game,
which I never
on PC.
played, but I hear great things about.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And when I watched the film, I found myself going, "Oh, like in the game, at certain things," because the game isn't based on the movie directly. It's a story that's parallel to the film.
Yeah.
So it's another Blade Runner investigating some replicants who have basically hidden away in this portion of society in a borough of the city.
Does it ever tell you why Blade Runners are called Blade Runners?
No. But it does tell you other shit, like how vending machines work and what powers the guns and shit like that. But
fantastic.
It was amazing. But I adored it. I played it a lot as a kid, and it was one of those PC games where the save was very rare.
Oh.
So for a save point you happened upon them very rarely. All 90s PC games where you really had to.
Yeah. Well, you had to get nothing better to do.
Yeah, you had to get 3 hours of play in before you hit a save point. So for my first 10 playthroughs, I was just replaying the beginning hour and a half, again and again and again. It's a lot of fun. And we reference them a lot on the show, but Weekly Planet, Mr. Sunday Movies, the part of their Caravan of Garbage series.
Yeah.
Which is sort of, its title is now bullshit, because they're playing a lot of good stuff now. But
they're garbage at it.
Yeah, fair play.
Oh! Shots fired, Mr. Sunday. Come at us, bro.
He won't. They're in Australia.
He won't. He doesn't listen.
But
we love you, Mr. Sunday.
We do. We generally do.
And Mason, maybe.
Obviously.
Maybe.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Grab that gem. Do they say that anymore? They don't really, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Occasionally, yeah. But they recently playing it. So if you want to get some footage from it, go watch that. They had a playthrough of the first hour or so. Cut down into a handy dandy 25 minutes. But that was my Blade Runner. How about you? Where did you dive into the world of Blood Renewed?
I cannot remember the first time I watched Blade Runner.
Or can you only recall watching Blade Runner because that's been implanted in your head, and you actually have only existed for 4 years?
Is that my memory?
Yeah.
No,
you're like a type 4 or 5. You've only existed for 4 years, and they're giving you a couple of memories so that you can feel like you had a past.
Listen,
you're not full blown Blade Runner 24.
I know what's real.
Well, do you?
Yeah,
you do.
Do
you? Yes.
Blade Runner is one of those movies that has been part of my life for so long that I can't remember a time before I knew what Blade Runner was.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had maybe I might have not seen the whole thing. I probably had a tape of it off when it was on TV that maybe has got some bits missing. Probably is what I probably had until I managed to get the DVD of the director's cut. Not long after I got a DVD player.
Yeah.
And then I got the final cut when it came out, and I fucking love that movie. I completely understand why people don't, because I know that people watch it and go, "Oh, it's boring, or nothing happens." Yeah, it kind of is boring, and kind of nothing happens, but that's kind of the point. It's a film noir story that just happens to be set in 2019 and is about androids. And it does a really good job of building a world.
Yes.
Without explaining the world to you. Unless you're watching a theatrical cut with Harrison Ford's ridiculous narration, which I don't think I've ever seen. I think I've only ever seen clips of it. But
Same, yeah. I've seen bits of it, and you can just So they just say, well, let's give a little bit back for those who are new to it and have maybe seen the film but don't know too much about the history. Let's sort of like Cliff Notes version of it.
A Blade Runner.
Yeah. So it released 1982 and was
of the film or the production of the film or the actual film itself?
The film itself came out in 1982.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And was not a hit, and it was sort of critically mixed.
The test screenings didn't go well because the audience didn't understand it. So
because we're in a post-Star Wars world, so they're going to watch a Harrison Ford sci-fi movie, and they think, "Oh, cool, yeah," and they're going, "What is this? Why is it so slow?"
It's not an action movie. Like,
no.
There's
some action in it, and it's pretty brutal and scary. But it's a noir. Yeah,
it's an exercise in mood over plot.
Mm.
Like the plot that's in there is very simple, and there's no real tension to it for most of it, other than like some of the confrontations, like
the pursuit in the last sort of 15 minutes.
But there's no mystery.
Yeah,
like you know exactly what's going on.
It's no like I talked to this broad to find out I'm going to find out who it was.
There's no mystery to the audience.
Yeah,
there's mystery to the characters, but the audience knows exactly where everything's
like Deckard's like finding shit out, but some of it is shit we know because we've seen where the characters are that he's after, and
but the audience didn't understand it because test audiences are stupid. Never listen to test audiences. Just never listen to test audiences.
But do listen to audience testies.
Depends what they're saying. They're fickle, those testes.
The fickle testes of fate.
So they made some cuts. They added a narration, which Harrison Ford didn't want to do.
Yeah, because he was like, no, this disrupts the point of it.
Yeah, and it's literally just him narrating what is happening on the screen and explaining concepts.
That weird gobbledygook he said was street speak.
City speak, a mixture of Japanese, French, what have you. I don't know why he saved my life.
Well, they did that, and sort of the way that they tried to make that fit in was they were like, oh, it's like an old school noir. Like, there's a lot of that. You go back to your Humphrey Bogart stuff, and there is a lot of like, I pursued him through the night.
Well, because the film's not structured to have that voiceover.
Yeah,
it absolutely doesn't fit.
Yeah,
because he's just telling you what's happening.
Like, had they gone in to make it like that, it probably could have worked.
Yeah,
but that was not the intention.
No.
So shoving it in, and the thing is, you can hear it.
Oh,
Harrison Ford is in a voice booth going, right, let's get this over with as quickly as possible. I am droning out the lines here. So, doesn't do well.
No. And they also added a happy ending. Quote-unquote happy ending using some... They basically just spliced together some unused footage from The Shining.
Yeah.
Like, to sort of give the impression that Deckard and Rachel are driving off into a happy green...
Which doesn't exist in this freaking world.
Doesn't exist in this universe.
And there's also like the unicorn stuff, which I think that appeared more of in the later releases.
Yeah, I don't think it's in the theatrical cut.
But like that, for example, that's footage from Legend that was unused.
Yeah.
The patchwork blanket of a movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's so strange. But like that happened because then it came to video, didn't it? Home video. And like the TV cut.
I think it was in 92 the director's cut got out there.
Yeah, and Ridley Scott basically went, there is stuff I want to change. I'm getting rid of the voiceover. I'm adding this unicorn stuff. I'm going to put a bit of ambiguity as to whether or not Deckard is also one of the replicants that he hunts down. Like,
and he's the only person that wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Everyone else involved with the film, the writers, Harrison Ford, everyone else is just like, no, Deckard's not a replicant.
But that's the thing. It's like, why? Why is that even a plot point? And I've seen people argue for it and people argue against it. But I think ultimately Scott's intention was more like, it adds a level of complexity to him being a Blade Runner. You know, someone charged with finding these manufactured people and shutting them, retiring them. Because for those who don't know the basic premise, I mean, spoiler alert for Blade Runner, but, you know, it's in the future of 2019, and the world, it's sort of softly implied that the world is fucked. Like cities are very industrial and closed in. Commercialism and, you know, like capitalism is completely dominant in this, you know, sort of steampunk / Nostromo style like way of existence.
Yeah.
Everything's pipes and steam and glass and freaking hookers and giant Coca-Cola and Atari advertisements and things like this. And Deckard is a Blade Runner. He works for the law enforcement. His job is to track down replicants, artificially created people.
Yeah, not
who were
robots.
Not robots. Like, they are robots in the sense that they were built, but they are flesh and blood.
I think they're designed, but they're sort of grown.
Yeah. Well, also, when I say robot, I mean in the
yeah.
sense that they are manufactured for a purpose.
Yeah.
But they are people. They have it's this whole nature. Basically, the whole thing is about the nature of the soul.
Yeah.
They're made by what's it called? The company that makes them?
Tyrell.
Tyrell. The Tyrell Corporation make them, and they're basically slave labor. They're human slaves built for slavery.
Yeah.
Some of them have like more specific jobs, like medics. And
There
things
are
like
military
that.
and combat
Military
units.
and combat units.
There's manual labour units. There's pleasure units.
Giggity goo and all that sort of
yeah.
stuff. But basically, a certain batch of them are considered obsolete because either they're trying to extend their life or like crimes have been committed.
What it is because of an uprising in the earlier models, they're illegal on Earth.
That's it. Oh,
So
of course, because that's why I always forget that Blade
could-
Runner is set in a universe where people are off-world.
Yeah, most people are off-world because Earth is fucked.
Yeah.
So if people can, they've gone to the colonies. They're the only people left are the people who can't leave.
Yeah, all the incredibly rich who are using Earth as a manufacturing plant.
Yeah.
Who are living the high life in their like wonderfully artificially created like palaces inside the buildings and stuff. Like they live like freaking kings.
So what happens is you've got
the moment they step out their door, it's like fuck, it's horrible. But like they're inside grand mansions or pyramids of gold and all this shit.
It's what's happened is you've got a group of replicants who've escaped back to Earth from the off-world colonies.
That's
thing being that to stop them becoming self-aware enough to stage a rebellion, they built in a 4-year lifespan for the Nexus 6 models.
Yeah.
Which is the current model.
Yeah.
As of Blade Runner.
Yeah. As of the year 2019.
Yeah.
Year of our Lord, 2019.
So 4 of these replicants have come back to Earth to try and extend their lifespans.
Yeah. They've heard tell of ways that can help make them live longer.
Yeah.
And of course, the rebellion for them, and a lot of it becomes clear due to like Rutger Hauer's character and his improv freaking dialogue.
Yeah.
Because he's freaking great in that movie, and he's probably the reason why it ends on such a note that it does. Like for me, the best scene in that movie is his final moments, not the scenes that follow.
No.
Like that's what I remember. That's what resonated with me the most when I finally did sit down to watch it. But like it's the nature of the soul. It's like we're alive.
Yeah.
Like don't discount us. Like we exist. That makes us. Like, we have a soul. Like that's what this is fucking about. It's because it's the book in it. Do androids dream of electric sheep? It's like to dream. Was it to? What's the freaking Shakespeare line? To dream, chance to. Damn it! I think we've both
chance to dream, chance to, I don't know.
I think we've basically just failed every qualification we've ever earned in performing.
To sleep, a chance to dream, but I don't know what the context of it is.
No, but it's that whole idea of it's what true, like,
I think you do a lot of lie there. I don't think that's
but I think I'm sort of repurposing that thing for the
Stop repurposing it.
It's the idea
just
of
purpose
like,
it.
What qualifies as being alive, truly alive.
Which, to be fair, in science fiction, has been a theme since Asimov.
Metropolis.
Yeah. Well, Asimov I think predates that.
Yeah.
But
I mean like this isn't a new concept. Like the 80s didn't introduce it. I mean even Star Wars doesn't touch on things like that, but like C-3PO and R2-D2 are very much characters. They're not just functions. They have personality and your line blurs. You don't come away from the movie going, "Oh, those robots were funny." You come away from it going, "Oh, I love those characters."
They are very much machines though, and where Blade Runner is different is that these are organic, biological.
They're considered machines by the people around them.
Yeah.
But they're treated
like machines, but they are biological. Genetically engineered and constructed, but biological.
So there's your basic premise, but like you say, it's a mood board.
Yeah.
The movie's an art gallery, not a storybook.
And even now, it's beautiful. It still looks gorgeous.
I mean, we talked about this like yesterday. I having recently seen it, I've only seen it twice now.
Yeah.
And I don't have the same affinity for it that like yourself and lots of others I've talked to have. But it's one of those movies that the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, you know what? That was really good. Yeah.
And I totally get it is long and it is slow and not a great deal happens and it's a little boring. But I love it for that, and that's going to turn some people off. Like, some people are going to bash their head against Blade Runner and just not be able to get into it, and that's fine.
It might be a generational thing, even though in a way. Like, I mean, we're very open to stuff from prior to our like childhoods and everything because we sort of look at it from that perspective of like, you know, the art or the performance, the writing, the direction, like music and stuff and everything. I can understand people younger than us maybe going like, oh yeah, no, I just couldn't do it.
I can't understand people younger than me. I can't tell what they're saying.
Oh, it's because they had hashtags at the start of every sentence. It just throws you off. But, you know what I mean? It's like, I could get why people wouldn't get it. And I myself, like, didn't appreciate it on first watching. But the more I think back, the more I go, oh yeah. And I can certainly appreciate the effect it has had on science fiction, on storytelling and film going forward. Because now I look at other things and go, oh shit, that was so influenced by that. And we get that from that. We were talking about Ghost in the Shell earlier this year and how that adaptation, the live action adaptation, like, obviously using its own source material, but the trailer was giving off such heavy Blade Runner vibes.
And I think also the source material probably pulled from Blade Runner quite a bit.
Yeah, but again, it's the snowball effect of like it's you know it's born again. But to make sure that Blade Runner retains its Blade Runner-iness, here we are in 2017 with a sequel to Blade Runner.
So how do you follow one of the most influential science fiction movies of all time?
Easy, you loosely sequelize it,
and you make.
This is not a direct sequel. You could watch this on its own. I think you could watch this on its own.
Yeah.
And it makes complete sense.
But
it's more rewarding if you know the first one.
And you also make, if I may be so bold, what could well turn out to be another massively influential visual masterpiece.
Blade Runner 2049. We're not going to start spoilers yet, we will go into them. But
there's not much we can say about it without spoiling it, because it throws some things at you in, like, the first scene that aren't in any of the trailers. And things like that. So I don't want to talk too much about plot specifics.
No, of course. But I think what we could basically get into is there is something that's been discovered within the world of the replicants that a current Blade Runner, K, played by Ryan Gosling, is tracking down. That has been discovered that it would just be for the best interests of the people trying to keep replicants under control to get rid of. So there is evidence that needs disposing of. So he has to investigate the nature of this thing, look into it, and eradicate everything about it he finds along the way. Problem is, he's too intrigued and too invested, because what it is fucking fascinating.
Yeah.
And may or may not be a more personal quest for him than he assumed in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, as far as we'll go for the plot.
Yeah.
It does tie in to the events of the first movie in a way. Certain characters' story between the films influences stuff we learn in this one.
Yeah.
So, like I said, if you've seen the first one, you'll definitely benefit from that watching this, because you'll go, oh, so that's what happened next.
They do a good job of explaining everything. So if you do the first one,
if you'd never seen the first one, you'd get it. I think.
Yeah,
they set it up well.
If you've seen the first one, I think you know where it's going quicker. Yeah. And also, they have this really neat thing where, again, I don't want to get to the plot points, but this is also, there's 3 short films that kind of fill the gap between Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049.
I've heard about The Blackout, which is an anime, isn't it, set in 2022?
Because they talk about this.
They refer to The Blackout a lot in this,
they talk about The Blackout, which basically wiped out a lot of the digital data that they had on file.
Yeah, which they make the guy at the archive sort of makes a point of, like, we really didn't have much left.
Yeah.
Like, all we did have left was paper. And it was surprising.
Yeah.
Because people were like... Because wood, of course, in this world is very fucking rare.
Yeah. There aren't any trees anymore.
So, yeah. So, like, all they had was things that were etched or old-ass records on paper. Which have obviously had to be hidden. lest people take them and sell them for like the
For
profit
material,
of owning paper.
And
So they've built back what they can.
but do you know what the blackout is?
It was replicants trying to do it on purpose, wasn't it?
Yeah, basically I've not watched the short films. I do need to watch them to catch up, because these blackout...
Again, though, they're not essential to see.
No.
But it's the Animatrix...
But there's 2 live-action ones.
The Animatrix / Gotham Knight kind of thing, isn't it? Of, if you see these, it's
Yeah.
a cool little bonus that fills you in on
There's 2
some
live-action
stuff.
ones that star the cast of 2049.
Really?
Like, there's one with...
Are these online, then?
Yeah, they're all on YouTube.
They'll be on the Blu-ray as well,
There's the
won't they?
one
I
with-
imagine they'll put them on there too.
There's one with Nyanda Wallace, as played by Jared Leto, introducing the Nexus 8 series.
I've seen footage from that,
Yeah.
yes. I
And there's
saw that
one
somewhere.
with Sapper Morton, played by Dave Bautista,
Yeah.
taking place, like, I think about a year before 2049.
Okay.
Whereas, like, he helps people out in trouble, but he kind of risks blowing his cover.
Mm.
Um,
He was a lovely addition. I'd forgotten he was in
he's
it.
brilliant in this. He's only in it.
He's in it for a scene.
Yeah, but
And
he's
he
good.
He underplays it
Yeah.
in a really nice way. He's sort of playing older than he actually is as well.
Yeah.
Which I believe, like, was it it might have been the Mr. Sunday Movies video. I think it nearly cost him the role.
Yeah.
They wanted him for it, but they were like, you might be too young. But they sort of the way that his makeup's done, and they his grades are on show, and they've sort of
It was
his
his
hair
screen
out.
test as well. Like,
Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve was reluctant until they saw the screen test and was like, actually, yeah.
Do you know what? He's good. Because I noticed that. I was like, hang on, Dave Bautista's in balding. And it's like, no, they've thinned his hair out on purpose. Like, I mean, we normally see him as bald because he's usually bald and green.
There's so many great performances in it.
Yeah.
The cast is incredible.
Yeah.
Um,
We won't talk too much about him now in non-spoilers, but like, Ford is invested. He's so it's like watching him in Force Awakens again in that thing where he's gone like, oh, I don't need to do that again. Oh, that's the angle.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all for that. And you can tell he's enjoying, because he's not, Deckard is in this movie. He's not the central focus. He's not the hero. He is part of the plot. And I think Ford enjoyed that. I think he enjoyed not being, which is a bit misleading in the marketing, because obviously the marketing wants to make the point of being like, Harrison Ford is back for the sequel.
Yeah.
But Deckard doesn't even really show up until like the final third, pretty much.
Yeah.
Of the movie, and that's not giving anything away. That's just if you're going into it expecting a Harrison Ford fest, I think it's best you know that he's part of this tale.
Yeah. He's not the main, but like, this is a Ryan Gosling movie.
And dear God, is he excellent.
Fucking brilliant in it.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Because there's so much he's having to say without ever saying it in this film.
Oh man, there's so much stuff
you want to get
going on behind.
You want to go into the
man.
nature of the soul angle of Blade
man.
Runner. He is having to act his socks off behind a facade of not showing anything.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. I think he's only second to me in terms of the performances to I'm trying to remember her name, but
I'm pulling up the cast list.
yeah, there's an artificial intelligence that he interacts with in his spare
Joy.
time. Joy.
She's played by Anna. What's the actress' name now? She's wonderful in this.
She's incredible. She's absolutely, and she's such a very Blade Runner-esque concept.
Anna
as
de
well.
Armas.
Anna de Armas.
Yeah,
she's phenomenal.
she's fantastic in this.
and she's a very Blade Runner-esque concept. Like her character,
Yeah.
her character's existence, her function. You're like, oh, that is both very sweet and really depressing.
I don't think it's spoilers to get into the nature of Joy.
Well, she's an AI.
Yeah, she's an AI. There's a range. I say a range. There's an AI girlfriend.
Yeah.
That the Wallace Corporation, which is the corporation that took over Tyrell, that Jared Leto's Nyanda Wallace runs.
He's excellent as well. He's menacing.
Yes, he's actually really good in this. So they sell this virtual girlfriend called Joy, and Ryan Gosling's character has one. And that's like the extent of his interpersonal relationships.
Yeah,
but
he comes
she's
home
fabulous.
and she's there to make him feel at home.
Like
not in a like hey kind of way, like not at all. She's basically there to like give him someone to come home to.
Sylvia Hooks is Love.
She's
Who
excellent.
is
Do you know
the,
what, actually? I think those two are tied maybe for the best performance.
She's Nyanda Wallace's replicant enforcer. She's sort of
well, she's like his secretary and sort of company PR person.
Yeah.
But is also the one who gets her hands dirty if he needs something investigated.
She does what needs to be done.
Yeah, she's frightening. Like, she's frightening. Oh god, who's the chief?
Robin Wright.
Robin Wright, of course.
She's
playing a very stereotypical part that is usually reserved for a gruff, like, 60-year-old bloke with, like, stubble and a cigar.
She's playing the Emma Walsh part from the original.
Yes. And she does an excellent job of it, because it is very by the numbers, but as the film goes on, she's allowed to put her own kind of angle on it.
Also because...
But it's also fun to see that. It's very different to see, like, you know, a very elegant elder woman instead.
It's also because Robin Wright has aged perfectly.
She's aged like the vodka her character necks.
She is like... This is going to sound really creepy.
Go for it.
She's like soft, supple, almost uncracked leather stretched over a fantastic feminine frame. She's elegant and strong and powerful, and she'll snap you in half and she'll seduce you at the same time. Robin Wright is
Robin Wright.
Just wonderful.
Robin Wright plays Robin Wright.
Yeah, she. If you haven't seen House of Cards on Netflix, just go watch that because she's fucking incredible in that.
We got a bookend, the film bookend with her this year, didn't we? Really, in a way. Like,
she's
the summer was bookended by
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman and then this.
But yeah, no, I mean the cast is just stellar. And I mean, as visual a director as Denis Villeneuve is, he also gets incredible. If you saw Arrival, he also gets incredible performances from actors. And before that, I think he did Prisoners, which is that's a crime movie. Like, it's not a genre piece at all.
Yeah, that's the
Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
I've not seen it. I hear it's brilliant. But so you know, he's as much as he is a visual director, he definitely gets cracking performances from his cast.
But his eye for visuals, I think, was the thing that makes this definitely feel like it belongs in the same world.
This film has some of the most stunning imagery you will see this year. At the tops anything you saw last year.
I mean, here's the thing: it doesn't look the same as the last one.
No, but enough of it crosses over.
It's like a jigsaw piece. Yeah. Like, you've got a jigsaw, and say you've got a jigsaw, one side's Blade Runner, one side's Blade Runner 2049, and down the middle there are pieces where the interlocking bits have a bit for both of them on.
Because
this is definitely that. Like, there is some of Blade Runner in this movie, absolutely.
What they've done, which
when
is
they're
very
in
smart,
when they're in like the cities and stuff, it feels like you're in Blade Runner.
Is they've not gone, okay, this is what 2049 will look like starting from now.
Yeah.
They're like, this is what the world of Blade Runner looks like 30 years later.
Yeah.
It's very much a development of that.
So there is the familiarity.
Yeah.
But like the ad campaigns, for example, they are bigger. There are holograms now. It's not just screens.
The world is even more fucked.
Yeah. Climate's fucked.
Yeah.
There's a location that they travel to a couple of times in the movie that is like a snow-covered environment where it's constantly snowing, and it's not that far from like the city area.
The entirety of San Diego is a landfill site.
Yes. That was a nice touch. When that came up, it was like, oh my god, okay, fair enough. And you saw the scope, you saw the scale of it from above. Yeah. You get a sense of how manufacturing is working, both legally and like black market style, in a way where you're like, oh, that's fascinating, but also really depressing.
Like a lot of crops have died off, so people farm worms for protein.
Yeah,
it's
Vegas is incredible.
Dust Bowl. It's actually inspired by
there was a film from a few years ago.
There was a sandstorm in Sydney.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, the footage
a few years back
where it was just orange.
Yeah, everything's. I'll see if I can.
I think I've seen the image. Yeah, I've seen the Opera House. You can just make out like the dips in it, the black like sort of shadow of the dips in the Opera House's fins.
And there's just this beautiful sequence of and you'll have seen chunks of it in the trailers of Ryan Gosling exploring this just sunbaked orange wasteland.
Yeah,
and walking through like the remnants of the Las Vegas Strip, albeit the Las Vegas Strip of the 2020s, 2030s, whenever.
The Blade Runner-y version of the Las Vegas Strip.
I think they imply that some kind of dirty bomb went off.
Something's happened which has left the area irradiated in a way a few decades back, and people now still don't go there. Yeah. Like, they just avoid it.
A bit like Chernobyl.
Yeah, like he and others are aware that like the radiation is not of a level where it will kill you.
But whatever it was sudden
people
because
stay away.
Like as he's going into the old hotel, like there's glasses still on the tables and papers.
There was a thick layer of dust on the carpet.
it's clearly...
hand luggage is where it was left.
Yeah, people clearly just dropped
like
what they
basically
were doing, fucked off.
Vegas is the Mary Celeste.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
and
abandoned.
It's gorgeous, but
that does not mean there isn't someone living there.
Yeah, look up pictures of the 2009 Australian sandstorm, and that's what inspired the visuals for that.
Phenomenal.
It's beautiful. So you get so much orange, you get so much blue. There's an action scene which takes place basically in the dark with a single lighted area that's being battered by water.
Yeah.
And it's just the things that
considering where that was in the movie, I was so impressed with how small scale that was because it's not what Hollywood would expect you to have at that moment, and it means so much. And again, it is a mood board. I will say that we'll sort of wrap up here pre-spoilers. I will say this. I did enjoy this one more, but that just might be because my film sensibilities obviously are catered more to modern cinema.
Be better. In terms of it, it certainly has a stronger narrative.
Yeah, its story. I'd say its story is more basic.
I would argue that the story's
because we're not cutting back and forth between two things happening, and catching each other up. We're sort of just following Kay's story.
I think the structure's more
with flashes of other things.
The structure's more straightforward, but the narrative is more complex. There's more going on.
In terms of the weight of things, there's definitely more to this one. Yeah, like in the last one, it's take out those 4 people, or we're fucked.
Yeah. There is a mystery in this, and Kay is a detective, and he does detective work, and there are things that he uncovers that you don't know.
Did you hear that then?
So, yeah, I heard that.
That was weird. Let's have a quick look. Sorry.
Okay, but anyway, I'm just going to keep talking about Blade Runner.
Oh my god!
I think this movie surpasses, in some ways, the original, just because it's not afraid to double down on what's so good about the original. Like, it's a long film. It's like nearly 3 hours long. But it revels in its running time. It doesn't rush anything. You get long, uninterrupted scenes of things just, well, happening.
Yeah.
But nothing actually happening. And it's just a joy to sort of sit and soak, marinate in that atmosphere, which the film drips with. You've got this incredible score that evokes the original Vangelis score from Blade Runner without aping it, without copying it. It's by Hans Zimmer and Benjamin Wallfisch. And again, it leans into that original Blade Runner feel of that electronic and yet sort of ethereal soundscape.
The music was amazing, because it evokes that Vangelis stuff so well. I think weirdly, my favourite thing about the movie was the sound design. Like, if I had to pick one thing that, like, to me was like that, the music and the editing for the sound and everything was gorgeous.
Because some of this soundtrack was so industrial that it became unclear where the line was between soundtrack and sound design.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was the way that played into whatever was happening on screen, and certainly into the internal feelings of the characters was just beautiful. Just go and see Blade Runner 2049. It is one of the most beautiful things that you will see.
It is so very, very worth your time. Whether you like or have seen the original or not, this is worth checking out. Prepare to sit your butt down. It's like 2 hours 35 minutes, long. I think. Yeah. Sit your butt down. Brace yourself just to feel. Be taken on a bit of a journey.
You've got to be in the mood for a long film. It's just going to wash over you. That's what it is.
Don't bring any noisy snacks.
Don't bring any noisy snacks.
Because we did. And then we're like, oh, damn it.
Some of it's very loud. Most of it's very quiet. Let's spoil the fuck out of it for those who've seen it.
Let's spoil, like you read about in Spoil Me magazine. Starting spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Everybody dies! No.
We always say that. Fuck me.
Yeah, so,
this movie, man.
Kay's a replicant.
Yes.
He's a replicant under the service of the police.
Which isn't in any of the trailers, but I don't think it's considered a spoiler because...
No, it has been mentioned in blurbs, but I don't think it's been emphasised how integral him being a replicant is to this.
No.
Because it's not like he halfway through his duty is like, no, I'm doing the wrong thing, I should fight. Throughout the whole thing, he's like, yeah, you're right, I've been made to do this, or at least have been repurposed to do this post the blackout.
There is
whatever.
that.
Like, I need to... I retire replicants. I don't enjoy it, but that's what I do.
Well,
and
does
that's
he
what
enjoy
I'm here for.
anything? Is the question.
Well,
like,
yeah. Oh my god.
I
mean, he's the nature of the soul personified for this movie.
Which I think is interesting because it's, like we were saying before, this science fiction idea of are androids people goes so far back to the point where it's not really a question anymore. Like, yes, they are. We've had enough stories dealing with that theme that we know that they are. Yeah,
there is life there.
So,
in whatever capacity it might be, there is life. And again, like, Rutger Hauer sums it up in the first one with the whole, like, you know, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Like, I have lived.
Yeah.
I have lived. That makes me alive.
And my memories are going to die with me.
Yeah.
And that makes me alive. The fact that my memories go when I go.
Yeah.
But
like, you can't upload my brain somewhere and keep it. I'm not a fucking file of facts.
Yeah. Although you can archive people's memories in this universe.
Oh, yeah.
But
are they real
memories? We already knew that.
But are they real memories?
We already knew that because that's in the first Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Because Rachel's got implanted memories from Tyrell's niece.
Yes.
Because she's the first replicant
of,
that
like,
Tyrell's experiment. She's a prototype.
Yeah.
She's one of Tyrell's experiments.
And possibly one of two. If you're Ridley
yes.
Scott. If you're Ridley Scott, or one of the people who genuinely likes the theory of Deckard possibly being a replicant.
Which I'm neither here nor there on, like, I honestly have no strong opinion either way.
I prefer him being a dude. I always assumed when I saw the film that they were hinting that maybe he's involved in this in a more of a way, but it might be more of a case of, like, someone's monitoring. I always took the whole unicorn origami thing to be like, oh, we know what you're dreaming about. Not necessarily because he's a replicant. Do you know what I mean? But more because, like, they're going, maybe it's something to do with, like, the tech. I always assume maybe they could see into his head, or, like, it's been implanted. Which would make sense, because in this movie they don't outright answer whether or not he was a replicant.
No.
They leave it open to interpretation.
Which I think is brilliant.
Still, which is genius. Yeah. Because they basically go, like, maybe you aren't manufactured, but maybe you were engineered to be part of this.
And they
like, you have been led in a way that your life would go in that direction,
which is nice,
to help us create the next thing.
Because a lot of the questions that are raised in this movie are then answered.
Yeah,
it's a satisfying movie in that sense that
you don't go away going, well, hang on, we still don't know what that's about. But you go away going, oh, we know what everything was about.
You do leave going,
what's next? Yeah.
Not in the way that I necessarily want a sequel.
Agreed. Yeah,
but,
I think if a sequel's going to happen, I'll happily wait for it for another 35 years.
Yeah, like, we don't,
because, like,
this doesn't need a sequel. This is open ended in the same way that the first one was open ended. We don't need a sequel for this.
It's open ended in the sense that revolution of a sort is coming.
Yeah.
And
also,
but not in an Independence Day resurgence like, we're gonna give them hell in the sequel. What's that's not happening?
No. Okay. Right. What's that? This film was terrible? Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I still think there's some guilty pleasures to be had in an Independence Day resurgence.
Get out of my dreams and into my car.
You know I'm right, though.
No, Brent Spiner is not a guilty pleasure.
Brent Spiner's never been guilty of anything in his life!
Androids. Where are you?
Fucking.
No, it's not androids. What does he sings about? Oh my god, what's he sings about?
I can't remember what he sings about.
Something little. Oh god, I can't remember.
I can't remember. Some bullshit.
It's not about androids. Data. Speaking of data.
Data. But yes.
So Gosling's got memories.
Yes.
Kay has memories of being a child.
All replicants have memories.
And they've done it in a way where it's not like they're given some things to sort of think about. It's like, you are like Sean Young, Rachel.
Yeah.
You're like Rachel was. You have been given a personality.
You've been given
memories that will influence how you act and how you respond. And specifically, he's got very specific childhood memories. Yeah. But he's aware that, no, these have been put in my head. I know these have been put in my head.
But they're there so they allow them to have a human emotional response.
Yeah.
And allow them to basically be created already emotionally mature, rather than have to learn that behaviour in the short life. But also replicants don't have fixed lifespans anymore.
Yeah. Like, they are either retired or changed
they're more pliable. They're more controllable.
Yeah. They're an advanced version of what we've seen before.
Yeah.
Like I said, like he's killing the replicants, and it's like, does that bother you? And he's like, I will do the order. I don't have to like it, but I will do it. And he's basically saying, like, I don't like killing other replicants, but that's what I do.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, I will do it because I'm asked to do it. It's like, so they are basically completely But of course, as the movie goes on, he starts to deviate from his task of eliminating the evidence, because he starts to realise that not only is he invested in it, he might be it.
Yeah.
Because it turns out, oh my god, it's amazing. So basically, a child has been born of a human and a replicant. Namely, Deckard and Rachel. Which is a genius. As soon as I realised that was where they were going with it, I was like, oh my god, that is genius.
As soon as they pulled those bones out and said it was a female, I knew exactly where they were going with it.
Yeah, did you figure, you were like, that's Rachel.
That's Rachel.
It's going to be Rachel. Oh my god. I mean, that alone is a great idea, because it means, like, her as the prototype, she was created to conceive. She was given the ability to conceive, which I don't think they ever touch on in the first film, like whether or not replicants can or not. But you sort of get the sense that they're artificially created. They probably don't. Film... They probably. I mean, they all have sex, but like you got like pleasure ones and everything. They're obviously not going to get pregnant.
The story for this film was written by Hampton Fanshawe, who co-wrote the first one, so it is moving off a lot of the same concepts. And they do also talk about what Wallace, Jared Leto's character, is very pissed off because he doesn't feel like he can make enough replicants quick enough, so he needs them to be able to procreate. Yeah, basically, so he can create his own slave race that will perpetuate themselves. Yeah, but
add on to that, I think there's that frustration as well that like Tyrell's prototype,
he knows that Tyrell
managed to do it.
But he hasn't been able to replicate it. Replicate.
So he's infuriated. So he wants to track down the father, if he's still alive, and I think he has the suspicion that Deckard is out there. So they're looking for him, like, Gosling leads them to him. They basically piggyback on Gosling's investigation from afar to find out more themselves. But they realise that if I find the father, I can get the information from him that might be the secret to this. And fuck it, I'll create another Rachel to sort of sweeten the deal. And it's like, well, she's not quite the same. Voice is a bit too high. Eyes are the wrong colour.
I don't get the voice thing.
I think that's intentional. I think it's Sean Young.
I didn't notice it,
but
whatever.
Casey pointed out, but like I thinking about that, I'm like, I think that was intentional. I think it's so she's not quite right. Like the way she walks in that moment is almost exactly the same as that shot.
Well, she's not quite right because it's CGI.
Right. No, but I mean, there's a couple of details to be like, she's not the same.
She's got the wrong colour eyes.
Don't try and say to me this is exactly the same. Like I'm gonna have a basically immortal sex doll version of my former lover. Like, I don't care.
Deckard looks at her and is like, she had green eyes.
And just walks away. But he has that moment, you can see him spending a moment being like, oh my god, like, we're together again for a second, but this is wrong, it's not her. Get what I need, have that cathartic moment, and then back away and go, yeah, she's wrong.
At which point, love just shoots her in the
face. Freaking, oh god. So, Kay starts to learn that it's entirely possible. Like, he learns that a child was born and was muddled up in the records. Yeah. And they don't know if the child was male or female because there is an identical record for a male replicant of a young age and a female replicant. There's no other details, but the female apparently died and the male moved on.
The female apparently did have a genetic defect at birth.
Yes.
And the male was lost in the system.
Yeah. So he starts to track down the male child.
And he comes to believe it's him.
He comes to believe it's him. And the thing is, it turned out, by the end of the movie you realise it was him, but not really. He's not the kid, he's the decoy. He's the male out of the two.
So basically,
he's got the memories of her.
It turns out the memories that he's got are real memories from a woman who creates memories for replicants. Yeah. It is now illegal to put real memories into replicants. They have to be created, so there are people who create memories.
And that was gorgeous visual. She plays that so well. That one scene, she owns it so much.
Wonderful, the actress who plays her.
But especially when it snap cuts to it, and it's just lush greenery. And you're like, wait, what?
And then the bug starts changing.
And you say, oh, she's like, that device is amazing.
Yeah, it's like a camera lens with no end.
And with little buttons, and she's just twisting it, and like the beetle sort of has like a fly head now, and its eyes change shape, and it's got horns, and then and she's basically just shaping it, and she shapes the birthday party. It's like, oh my god, this is so
beautiful.
Sweet.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous, and her performance is great. Like you basically, when you first meet this character, you're told that like for whatever reason, like her parents were off world, and she was unwell. So she was quarantined for her own safety.
She's got a compromised immune system, so she has to live in a sterile environment.
Yeah. Although it's probably not true at all, is
But
it?
is it,
It's
though?
probably not true. Well, it could be, but I wouldn't be
Again,
surprised if it
ambiguity.
wasn't true, and it was just basically part of the creation to make sure she was kept there and not found. Because no one would be able to trace her back unless someone like Kay was investigating it this way.
It's unclear how much of this that she knows, but the doctor who creates the memories. What's the name of her? She creates the memories. Her name is.
Finding out the name of the lady in the
cast list for some reason. Dr. Anna Stelline, she's played by Carla Jure. She is actually the daughter of Rachel and Deckard. So it was the daughter that survived, and the boy was a duplicate.
Yeah, and it's possible that the boy is Kay, like definitely for sure, because her memories have been put in him.
No, the boy is not Kay.
Oh,
there is no boy.
No, that's what I'm saying. I thought like it was this thing that if someone ever did track it down, they'd track it to him, and it'd be like, oh,
no.
right, well, it's okay.
No, the boy's not Kay.
Okay.
There is no boy.
Right, so he throws. Okay.
She had a girl.
Yeah,
but she didn't have two children. She had a girl.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, there wasn't like two kids,
no.
but like when they've decided to create this parallel thing.
No, because what the resistance there's an underground replicant resistance. She says to him, so many of us have wished it was us.
Shit, so he's one
so
of
that
many.
Means that
oh my god, so a bunch of them have been made with those memories as a clue to help
she's
find...
been putting her memory in a bunch of different replicants, presumably.
Just because she's using a memory, she's like, here's a memory.
Even though but that's illegal. She can't, she's not allowed to do that, and she knows she's not allowed to do that.
Right.
Because she's the one who tells Kay that she can't do it.
So again, it's implying maybe she knows?
Yeah.
Or at least she knows that she has to put this out there to some people. Because when Deckard arrives at the end, they don't have a moment of her being like, oh my god,
They don't say anything.
They don't say anything.
She walks over to the glass, and then the last shot of the film is from her point of view of him putting his hand on the glass. That's it.
Yeah. So again, open-ended, beautiful.
Yeah.
With Kay dying quietly on the steps outside.
Oh yeah, to the same music or a version of the same music that Rutger Hauer dies to in the first.
What's Rutger Hauer's character in the first one called?
Roy Batty.
Batty, that's it. Batty Roy.
Batty Roy. It's so good.
It really is.
It's just so good.
It really freaking is. Leto's great. Leto's really great in this. His character is sort of the off-kilter genius, bit psychotic. You know why he's great? Because he's downplaying it?
Yeah, because he doesn't do much.
And I like that, just again, they never explain anything, you should interpret it yourself. He's blind.
Yeah.
But he's using these little things to kind of see. Like little cameras, he can put a chip in his neck and he can see from the cameras, which is how he examines his products. Yeah,
there's a very disturbing scene where he watches one of these replicants come to life.
Yeah, it's like she's opened. The packaging is opened.
And she's basically born. He inspects her and then he doesn't like it, so he just kills her.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. He's just like, yep, she can't procreate, so she is essentially the same as what I'm already doing. This is pointless.
And he just see that frustration. He
cuts open a wound. He cuts open where the wound would be. He cuts open the gut, and then just leaves the bleed to death.
Leaves the bleed out. Yeah.
Horrible, but gorgeous visual. Obviously, it's not good. It's freaking horrible. But I mean, like the way they do it with the colours.
Yeah.
Like she's covered in this orange stuff, and she's sort of cleaned up a bit. But then you see the red run down her legs, with these oranges contrasting with the stark dark reds, and oh man, it's horrible to watch. And you can see that Love is sort of uncomfortable with it. Like, even though Love is terrifying,
I think Love is uncomfortable with a lot of stuff that happens in this film. Like,
well, because she's watching people like her being sort of cast aside, but at the same time, she's still sort of she gets enjoyment from enforcing on his behalf.
Yeah,
you can tell she enjoys violence. Like, she's fine patrolling and taking meetings and meeting clients, but when she gets her hands dirty, she's loving every fucking second of it.
And yet she does seem to be conflicted about a lot of it, because she does shed a tear or two.
Yeah. But all the same, she will like, oh, you want me to kill him? Okay.
Oh yeah, she takes pleasure in killing the coroner. Poor David Desmalchin.
David Desmalchin gets a small chin.
Oof.
That is wonderfully gruesome.
Yeah.
What happens to his character? There is some violence in it, man.
Yeah.
Like, there is some the crushing of a hand around a glass. And then, like, because I think we were debating last night, was she crushing to break it? I don't think she was breaking the hand. I think she was just squeezing her hand hard enough so that the glass was embedding in. There's a bit where a drone takes out a load
bunch of scavengers.
Scavengers, like in very violent. There's a bit what you don't. It's not focused on, but one of them freaking explodes.
Yeah.
It's there's this stuff isn't violence exists in this world for sure. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about sex.
It's very, very strange AI cyber sex threesome.
Yeah, well, Joy. The reason why I think that might be the strongest performance in the movie is because it's delving in the nature of the soul. She's playing essentially a piece of software. It's her.
And how
it's the movie Her,
yeah,
but played with a bit more poignancy and slightly less creep factor.
And again, there's a wonderful ambiguity as to how much of what happens between her and Kay is genuine, and how much of it is her programming. Yeah.
Well, yeah, she decides to give him a name. She realizes he's more than just a tin man. Like he's special, and she gives him a name. She calls him Joe. Like she almost like she's just off the top of her head. She's like, "You're Joe. Like you should be Joe." And it's so sweet because you're like, oh my god, like she's obviously thought about a name for him, like what she would call him. And it's like, that is so, oh my god, she's invested. This software is invested. It's like if Siri gave a damn.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, this is touching as fuck. And like, obviously he doesn't really show much apart from behind his eyes.
No.
But she does. She shows emotion. But then later when he's confronted with the advertisement for Joy
after his joy has been destroyed,
has been killed in a heartbreaking moment where there's no like grandiose thing for it. It's just her unit is stomped out as she's saying, "I love you." Gone.
Yeah, because he's had to delete her back up.
Yeah, to take her with him and not be tracked down.
Yeah, so they can't track him.
Like he's
her insistence.
He's had to delete her off of the smart TV basically to just be on his iPhone. Like that's essentially what's happened
in common parlance.
Yeah, and then the iPhone stopped out and she's gone. And then he sees a billboard version of her when he's back in the city, like, obviously advertising the product, which we see a few times, but it's never focused on, apart from during the lovemaking scene. Like, there's a bit where it shows you and you sort of go, like, she's built to do that. She's built to bring pleasure. And obviously he asks for nothing.
Yeah.
He doesn't ask for what a lot of people were probably using the software for, so she makes it special for him. Like, she...
But as part of her programming, she's whatever you need to hear.
Yeah.
What you want to hear, what you want to see.
But
so
the nature of the soul thing comes into play because you're like, no, she cares. But then he sees the advertisement, and the advertisement refers to him as like a Joe. And you're like, no, wasn't even a special nickname. Maybe she felt like it was. If she did indeed have feelings for him, maybe she felt like, she wanted to give him a name and make him feel special. But no, the software just does this. Average Joe, basically. It's like, oh,
but there is this bizarre sex
and
scene.
It's that moment where he goes like, yeah, I have nothing left to fight for now.
Yeah.
I may as well like rescue Deckard. He doesn't care anymore because he's like, yeah, the thing I thought I knew isn't even real.
Going into the visual wonders.
It's horrible. I love
it. This strangely beautiful yet slightly creepy sex scene where there's a prostitute played by Mackenzie Davis?
Yeah, she's a replicant, isn't she?
No, she's human.
Is she human?
She's human, but she's an agent for the replicant resistance.
Ah, gotcha. I thought because like she has sort of the hair colour of some of the
she's
like that sort of punky hair. I thought they were implying.
But she is made to she is sort of reminiscent of Pris.
Yes,
in the original.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
The lass who plays her used to cosplay as Pris. So
really, that's a cool bit of trivia. Oh my god! Imagine I doing a first wardrobe test and be like, holy shit.
Yeah, basically, I'm a new Pris. But
I'm a Pris miss.
I'm so Joy hires this prostitute and sort of imposes her holographic image over her and tries as best she can to sync the movements. But of course, it doesn't quite match. So you've got like he's like they're sort of caressing with four hands, just out of sync with each other, and then the face sort of keeps flitting in between the two women, and
it's beautifully
it's a beautiful thing to look at, and it's not. Like,
and there is again, it depends on how you feel about his relationship to Joy,
and
how you think she actually is feeling, whether or not she does have emotional response or it's just part of programming. It's as a scene, it's both really touching and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because it's like, is this Siri hiring a prostitute?
Yeah.
Like, because if it is, that's weird. Or is this an AI that has kind of gone a bit further, that does love him and is like, I want you to have this. I want to have this moment with you, and this is how I can do it.
Which presumably she could if she is a true AI.
Yeah,
because
exactly,
she could grow beyond the parameters of original programming. But that's left ambiguous, and that's, again, one of the wonderful things about this movie, the amount of ambiguity.
When he first takes her portable to the roof, like
Yeah.
he buys the unit where he can take her outside of his apartment.
She's still holographic. She's still not solid.
But there's a bit of a hard light thing going on briefly, isn't there? She feels the rain.
That's the hologram.
Is it
adjusting?
Okay. Yeah,
because she's in the rain.
Yeah,
it adjusts on the fly.
But again, like the way she plays it, it's like she's feeling it.
Yeah.
And you wonder if that is the program going like, oh my god, I've never had to do this before. This is like, whether she's feeling it or not, it's like, this is amazing. I love this as an AI. God, it's so pathetic and yet so beautiful and poignant and oh god. But she plays that so well. Yeah. I think she is sort of, again, considering she's just Siri with a face, I think she's the soul of the movie.
Yeah, Ana de Armas is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic.
Gosling is the steely face of it, but there is so much going on behind his eyes. Yeah. Dude's amazing. Like, incredible, give him a project where he can shine, and he fucking shines, and he definitely does in this one. And his coat is dope as fuck. It's a good coat. I'm a coat man, and that is a good coat. Ford is invested. You can tell he likes what he's been given, and he's like, yes.
Love it.
That's not to say like he doesn't give a fuck, but like you watch him in something like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and you can see he's you can see he's like having fun making the movie, but he doesn't really believe in this material.
Do I really have to say this?
Whereas in this, it's like, yeah, he's going for it, and you can tell it. I think he's probably thriving off of the lack of definitive background for what Deckard's been doing for 20 years. Like, as an actor, that's juicy, because he's probably got in his head an entire history of what Deckard's been doing. Yeah. That's just his, and no one else knows it.
Basically, the idea has been, as soon as he knew there was a baby coming along, he showed them how to hide it, and fucked off.
Yeah.
Not because he didn't want it, to keep the baby safe.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, even when Wallace brings him in, it's like, we're going to have to torture you for information, we're going to take you off world and torture you.
I don't know anything.
He's like, he doesn't even say that. He's just, because he knows that no matter what he says, they're going to get to the point where they're like, right, we're going to beat the information out of you. And he's like, you can do that because you're never going to find out. I don't know.
Yeah.
The only reason he might have an inkling now is because of Kay showing up.
Yeah.
Which complicates things, but obviously, we wouldn't have a story. Things didn't get complicated.
The Resistance want Kay to then kill Deckard once he's been captured. And
I think they're aware that Deckard wants that too. They're like, kill him, and it will keep...
Because Deckard says to Kay, why didn't you let me drown?
Yeah.
And
he's like, you did.
Yeah, Farage wants to say you did. Now I'm going to take you to see your daughter.
Yeah.
I'm going to die on the steps. It's like, oh, it's so good.
That we were saying before in the non-spoiler bit, like the final scene is the minimal sequence, the minimalist sequence where basically like Kay shoots down two of the craft, the cars that are going towards the off-world, like ships or whatever, and then he takes down the one with Deckard in it, and basically he and Love have a fight whilst the car is going slow, like more and more under the waves, being dragged into the sea.
It's this huge sea defense wall that's been built around Los Angeles.
Yeah,
because the sea level has gotten so much higher, and it's basically the sea defense wall is where the coast is, which is now around Mulholland Drive.
Yeah,
that's where the coast is.
Yeah. Christ.
Because that's how bad the environment is.
That's how fucked the planet Earth is in this timeline.
This enormous sea defense wall, the waves just lapping up against it. And I think they're on the sea side, the ocean side of it.
Yeah.
So they're there as the tide's coming in, and so the car is sliding off into the waves as they're coming in, and you just get this stark, minimalist, brutal fight scene in this car as it's being lapped up by the waves. Like the black ocean. Like this white car being sucked into a black ocean. It's just... it's such a beautiful visual.
And again, it's that whole thing of like, the final confrontation. If you want to look at it in the, the Hollywood structure thing, it's like, it's the final battle, and the final battle is being staged between Kay and Love. And the final moments, which would normally be the epic, like, dun, scored, it's just this quietly done moment where they beat the shit out of each other. then they get into the thing. She goes back to get Deckard and make sure that he's retrieved. And Kay shows up, beats her a few more times, and then just chokes her to death slowly.
Drowns her.
Well, yeah, he starts choking, then he pulls her with the water, and it's quiet. Like, the score's playing, but it's not like, dun, 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 like, it's just quiet.
It's tragic in a way.
Yeah. And again, it doesn't end with, like, then the villains have been defeated. 'Cause it's like, no, Wallace is probably going to eventually send someone else out there to try and find...
There's no winners here.
What's going on, but Wallace is probably going to presume Deckard dead, like, because everyone's taken down. Maybe he won't, maybe he will, whatever. He's like, yeah, well, we've lost our lead, so I'm going to try and find another way. But ultimately, the day is saved, kind of. And it's gorgeous. It's just... fuck. For people who wanting callbacks to the original, what's his name? The fella from the first one, the origami dude.
Gaff, who's
Gaff.
played by Edward James Olmos.
Yeah, reprises the role. Probably got a bit of time to grow his facial hair in a funky way again. So Gaff makes a cameo.
So cool. Still looking sharp, still making origami animals.
In a sort of
little origami sheep.
In a sort of like, I guess, like wealthy person's retirement.
Yeah,
home.
It looks like some kind.
Because it looks cozy and nice inside, and these amongst other sort of elderly folk who are there and stuff, and they look content. There's no
it looks
sort
like
of
a decent retirement home.
Amidst all this stuff, like this horrible world, it's like, well, he's obviously wealthy enough to afford this and live out his twilight years in a nice setting.
Comparable comfort, especially compared to some of the stuff we see.
Yeah, which is nice because again, like it's sort of, oh, is he going to tie into it? No, one scene.
Yeah.
I think he asks him, "Do you know what happened to, Thingy Deckard?" And he's like,
"Nope, not really."
No idea.
Just kind of fucked off.
Good luck finding him. He was a bit of an arsehole. Bye.
I didn't like him. He didn't like me. And we worked together to make sure we didn't have to work together.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool.
Fair play. Sean Young, we'll probably know more when the Blu-ray comes out, but like Sean Young reprises her role either vocally or through a bit of mocap or whatever.
There was a different
Rachel...
actress on set for reference.
Oh yeah, I think what they've done is they'll have had an actress there, and then they would have shot her separately.
But there's archive footage and there's a CGI'd Rachel. Well.
Better than Salvation, put it that way.
It's still Uncanny Valley as fuck.
Yeah, but it's like I think maybe it's only that because we know that's not what she looks like.
Yeah, it's on the Star Wars Rogue One level.
Yeah, like it works. If you don't think about it, it works better.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, they point out in the scene that like, she's not quite right anyway. So it's like, okay, fair enough. Yeah. We're all feeling that. So fair dues.
Yes.
It's great. This is a great piece of cinema, and it's criminal what's happened to it because it underperformed, didn't it? The US box office.
I think the first day was bad, but I think word of mouth is picking up.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way: people go like, "Oh my god, it's sunk." It's like, yeah, but
the original Blade Runner.
The original Blade Runner, when it hit television and home video, was when people finally started to fall in love with it properly and appreciate it for what it was.
Because it's the kind of film that you need to sort of, like I say, you need to marinate in it.
This one has made me again want to revisit the first one because I think I will dig it more the more I watch it. But I think that's also partly because my Blade Runner affection was shaped by the video game, not the film. Yeah. So that might be why. I'll tell you what, Red Dwarf Back to Earth made a lot more sense after I watched Blade Runner. Jesus Christ. So yeah, we should probably start reviewing that soon because the first episode's on UK TV Play. So there's a tenuous link to comedy, everybody.
Yay!
Speaking of comedy is followed very swiftly by tragedy. And in the modern era...
Rick and Morty Season 3 is over, what a tragedy! No.
In the modern era...
No.
Comedy's followed more by douchebaggery. So, let's talk about the good first. Rick and Morty, the final episode of Season 3, which was the Rick-Turian Morty date, came out.
Yeah.
I think from that title, we were like, this is going to tie into the Citadel of Rick stuff. Not at all. Has nothing to do with any overarching plots.
I love being trolled by Justin Roiland and Diane Harmon.
Yeah, this was great. This was a really fun episode. It's the finale of Series 3, and like Rick and Morty really should be, I suppose, it's not a finale. It's just an episode. The most finale-ish thing about it is it resolves the Beth and Jerry thing.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's great. It's a Series 1 episode, again.
To the point where they actually comment, the characters actually comment on that in the episode. Like, they just don't give a fuck about the fourth wall in this season.
Yeah.
They are poking their dicks through it, left, right, and centre.
Yeah, I mean, Christ, Rick explains what he's doing and the level of, like, God Grant Morrison Batman style control by saying, "I'm Doctor Whoing this motherfucker." Yeah. Like, in a scene set in the Oval Office, it's basically them taking a stab at series 6 and 7 of Doctor Who. Yeah. Like, which I thought was brilliant. I was like, oh my god, Justin Roiland hates that part of Doctor Who as well, because it's this overt contingency. They make a freaking Tesseract reference without saying it, like, specifically. It's like, oh my god.
But also them going, yeah, fuck this being pest control for the president, let's just go play Minecraft.
Yeah.
And
the fuck, which you get a sense is probably just one of the writers is like, yeah, I really enjoy playing Minecraft. Fuck it, Rick and Morty are going to play a bit of Minecraft. And then Rick's going to get bored of it once they start, because you can go to a dimension where you basically Minecraft.
You can go to the Minecraft dimension.
Which is such an it was such an overt reference that it felt uncomfortable for a sec, until you realised, oh, it is just a gag. Don't worry, we're moving on from this.
A bit like the Nintendo 3DS stuff in the
season
2 with the.
We were flipping for like 3 times the price. Nintendo sent me free stuff.
I think is that in the Parasites episode?
Yes, it's a flashback.
He keeps talking about Nintendo 3DS.
Oh my god. Oh Christ.
Yeah. So Rick and the president having a dick measuring contest.
Yeah, which is full of freaking Easter eggs to stuff.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ! Like, I mean, some of them, like one of them in particular, is like, that's a bit much. Did you spot that? Well, when they're in like the sub basement, and there was a bunch of TV sets and models. And the most obvious one is the moon landing. And you're like, that's great, because this is the show referring again to like the moon and everything, and basically saying, okay, that's cool. In the far background, you had like the guys arriving on the boat, like, do you know what I mean, and all that stuff. JFK's car is there, with a blood splatter on the back seat, and it's like they're implying that assassination was staged. One gag was like, "Ooh, that's uncomfortable." One of them was a scale model of the Twin Towers, and it's like, "Oh, guys, really?" But this is Rick and Morty; it can get very dark, and. Whatever, fuck it. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like, they're not disrespecting the people who died, they're making a reference to government conspiracies and conspiracy theories. But it was like, oh, really? And then they recovered it by having, like, freaking, children with trigger phrases. Like, little assassin children with trigger phrases. And stuff like that, where you're like, this is horrible, what's going on? I love the fact that all the multiple Ricks cartwheeled out of the way of the laser fire. They're all just cartwheeling in this really weird uniformed way. What's going on? I love how the plot, like, basically, they say, like, we're going to DOS, and the president's like, right, okay, well, if you're going to be like that, then we'll deal with all this intergalactic shit. And you can see Rick's getting a bit jealous about it. So then he basically goes, oh, look,
up and getting bitter.
Oh, look, I can fix these things without you even calling us in. There we go, it's done. And then it just becomes a fight between the two of them that spills out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. It does what Rick and Morty can do best. It shows that, like, the tiniest thing can unfortunately grow into the biggest mess simply because Rick is too proud.
Yeah.
So Morty wanted a selfie with the president. The president wouldn't give him one. So now Rick's like, I'm not leaving until you have a selfie with my nephew. What am I talking about? My grandkid. And Morty's like, okay, no, you're killing people. Please stop now. And this show could be dark, and that's what makes it wonderful. It can have little heartfelt moments, but it's basically about a nasty piece of work.
Oh, yeah.
Who is dead inside. And there's occasional moments where he feels human again, but we're not allowed the luxury of seeing more into that because that's not the point of the show. Mr. Poopy Butthole post-credits. Slight spoiler, but he basically says what he said last year, like, hey, here's how I'm getting on. We'll see you again in a few years, or like maybe sooner, who knows. I'll have an old man beard, like a big old man beard. Bye! And it's like, do you know what, guys? Take your time. Take your time.
They said they're doing season 4 now.
Yeah, it's been greenlit. It's been greenlit. I think they announced after the American premiere of this episode, they went, P.S. Series 4 is definitely happening, in case you're wondering, Mr. Poopy Butthole wasn't jerking you around. Like, it's been greenlit. But I want it. I want him to take the time.
I want it.
Like the merchandise and the sensible, adult, grown-up human beings with brains will keep the fan base and the excitement alive for a new series in a calm, measured way over the next couple of years.
What happened, Chris?
Right, so episode 1 of this series debuted April Fool's Day, and you found out that Rick, at least in that episode, his entire motivation for everything in his life is because he wants to find a way to get hold of the limited edition Mulan movie tie-in 1998 McDonald's Szechuan dipping sauce. In 1998, McDonald's had teriyaki Szechuan dipping sauce with its McNuggets to tie into Mulan. Rick loves it. It's his favourite Szechuan sauce. He's never found a dimension where they make it. He's never invented time travel, so he can go back and get it. And he implies at the end of the episode in a psychotic rant that it's meant nothing more than a joke, that is his entire purpose in life and the purpose of the season going forward. Of course, because Rick is literally a being of pure hatred and cruel jokes for the sake of a cruel joke and a laugh, it's never brought up again. Because it is a joke for that one episode of Rick and Morty. McDonald's sent Justin Roiland, co-creator of the show, a big tub of Szechuan sauce about a month ago and said, let everybody know that there's something coming. So he did. Because the whole joke was based on the fact Justin Roiland brought it up in a conversation at some point saying, oh my god, it was the tastiest thing ever. So like Dan Harmon wrote it into the season opener. So Justin Roiland was like, oh my god, this is amazing. They've made me some Szechuan sauce with a retro label on it. This is great. McDonald's then announced a few weeks ago that on the 7th of October, the year of our Lord, 2017,
Yes!
participating... I don't need a cab. I've called an Uber.
Not a line from Toast, but I made you think it was, didn't I?
You did. You buried it. You Matt buried it.
Buried it.
You buried it deep, like McDonald's did, because McDonald's went on 7th of October, a week after the season finale premieres in the States. At participating stores, we are going to be giving out some Szechuan sauce. And they showed the label to their little tubs, and it's not Rick and Morty directly tied in, but obviously it's a Rick and Morty sort of...
Yeah. I think Rick and Morty's a little adult for McDonald's to be doing cross promotions with.
Yeah, well, but the thing is they weren't advertising it in stores.
Yeah.
It was only online, and it was like, if you go to the stores, participating stores on this day, you can get some, we're going to release some Szechuan sauce on that day. And the label is Rick and Morty-esque. It sort of looks like a species you'd see in Rick and Morty on a planet. Yeah. And it's a cute little label. Right, so... what happened was, only about maybe a fourth of McDonald's stores in the States were participating, which angered people. You know, people who were there to get some free dipping sauce. So McDonald's fluffed up because they should have made very clear exactly which stores were participating and how much they had. They only made enough. Apparently, all that was dealt out to the participating stores was 20 sachets each.
Oof!
So that's a tiny amount.
Yeah.
So now you could have damage controlled that beforehand by saying, find out your participating stores, ask nicely. If they're participating, they'll give you a sachet, but you got to be quick because there's only a tiny amount at each store. Now, I think what McDonald's were assuming was going to happen, even though they hadn't said that, which they should have done, was that at every McDonald's store in the country, a few groups of people over the course of the day were going to come in and go, hi, do you have any of the Szechuan sauce? And they'd be like, well done guys, you got here first. And handed it out. Thing is, Rick and Morty has an evolving fan base. I think if you'd have done this during like season 2, it would have been fine. I discovered Rick and Morty thanks to yourself like about 4 months before season 2 premiered. Like we watched series 1 and I dug it. So then when series 2 came out, watched it go out, loved it. We're now in a place where Rick and Morty in the gap between season 2 and 3 has grown in popularity so much that it has a fan base.
Finish it!
Oh, God. Last week we discussed how geek culture is possibly on its way out and the reasons why people might believe that. One of them was that certain fandoms especially, have developed a level of very visible, very loud toxicity, where people are nasty as shit to other people, almost as though to be territorial. Oh, what? You've never seen frickin' any classic Doctor Who? Well, you're not a proper fan. I'm a proper fan. Fuck off. If they like the new stuff, they're a fan. Just because they've not seen all the stuff you've seen doesn't make them any less of a fan. Rick and Morty's got a similar thing to the Sherlock fandom. There is a large portion of the Sherlock fandom who look at people who criticise Sherlock or who don't enjoy it as much and go, well, you're not clever enough to understand it. Those people are twats. Because that's not the point. Never decry someone for enjoying something in any way. Never decry someone for not enjoying it. They want to enjoy it. That's why they're watching it. That's why they're participating. If they have a problem with it, and if their concerns are legitimate from an analytical point of view, that's fine. It doesn't mean you don't have to enjoy it if you do. Rick and Morty's developed a similar fan base. There is a large portion of its fan base, I'm not generalising here, they seem to be the younger portion of its fan base.
Quelle surprise.
Yeah. Some of them too young to really be watching it, like it's not aimed at their age group.
Quelle horreur.
Who are slagging off people who aren't enjoying it, who are attacking other people for not enjoying it as much as they do.
Oh!
I mean, you know the.
Sorry! I left my enjoyometer at home!
Oh my god. You know the wanky app, Musically, that all these teens have been using?
Yeah, fuck.
It's basically a miming app. We had a version of it a couple of years ago called Dub Smash. Where, you could mime to like voice clips, and it was basically a fun way on Vine to make weird little videos to share with your friends. There's now one called Musically, which uses music and tracks.
Then
now he's using clips. Yeah, lip sync
battle became a thing, and then everyone.
Culture is dead, and we should all kill ourselves. Yeah. But so Musically is mostly populated by teenagers. One of the most disgusting things I've ever seen online was a Musically clip.
What happened?
About a year ago, there's someone, I can't remember what the song is, but the song is about like holding on and hold on, like stay with me or something. I think it might be like stay with me, Sam Smith or something. A teenager is miming to it on their Musically app next to their grandmother who is genuinely dying in a hospital bed next to them. It's not staged. This teenager's doing this and is doing like, the pop star poses and stuff. And it's like 10 seconds long. It's like, you are a piece of shit. I know you're like 14 and eventually you might grow up and look back on this and go, what the hell am I doing? But you're a piece of shit. Fuck off.
Right now, in this moment.
In this moment, you're a piece of shit. Hopefully you'll grow as a person and realise that is not the way to do it. And hopefully you'll fucking delete that thing and reconcile with your dying grandparent before they leave this world. But right now, you are a piece of scum.
I don't think I have to worry about deleting it, because let's be honest, these things don't exactly last.
But I got to the point where I don't have Musically, but I saw that clip.
R.I.P. Vine.
Because people were passing it around going, this is the state of the next generation.
Yay!
And I was like, oh my god. So, Musically, there is a whole fan base on Musically who cosplay as Rick and Morty and mime to stuff that isn't even Rick and Morty. Like, because they're like, oh, we're Rick and Morty fans, and this is so random, lol. These appear to be the groups that got to the point where this McDonald's stunt went horribly wrong in a way that is going to temporarily scar McDonald's, but is going to permanently scar Rick and Morty.
Tell me what happened.
I know people who want to watch Rick and Morty who have been put off now because of this.
Tell me what happened.
People rocked up. There was no Szechuan sauce at that store. They started harassing the staff.
Good.
And kicking off.
Good.
People showed up to participate in stores. They missed out on the sauce. They started harassing the staff. People showed up, found out that yes, McDonald's had criminally undersold it by giving only 20 packets, and had a go at the staff members of that store as though it was their fault. In a couple of occasions, police were called. Police were called to disperse fans. Now, some stores managed to handle it well and anticipated this. I don't know if all participating McDonald's stores did this, but some of them had 100 postcards, exclusive artwork, to do with that day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you showed up and you'd missed out on the sauce, don't worry, here's a like, hey, you missed out on the sauce, but thanks for coming. Here's this. You only get this today. That's quite cool. That means that at least 120 people at that store got something. That's great. Good on you. Makes it more of a treasure hunt.
No, it does.
And I imagine that there were McDonald's stores around the US that it was handled really well. Do you know what I mean? Like, people showed up and they were like, have you got Szechuan? I'm so sorry it ran out. But, like, thanks for asking. Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, guys, we missed out. Never mind.
But you don't hear about those.
We don't hear about those because, unfortunately, once again, the vile, horrible, toxic, loud minority are the ones who ruined it for everybody.
Awesome.
Justin Roiland made a statement basically saying, I'm annoyed at McDonald's for obviously underestimating this. Like, I didn't know they'd only provided 20 packets per store. That's mental. Do you know what I mean? It should have been, at least 50, even 50 would have quelled it enough. Do you know what I mean? Because then it becomes like a first come, first serve thing.
20, 50, 100!
Yeah, the creeping kid.
For my movie, the Szechuan sauce.
Yeah. So like, and here's the thing, if they really wanted Szechuan sauce, do you know what you did? Go to Walmart, there's Szechuan sauce. Go and get some Szechuan sauce. Just buy some Szechuan sauce. But people obviously wanted to be like, oh my god, lol, so random, I got it from McDonald's. And these were the people that made a fuss out of it and made it horrible and disgusting. Justin Roiland's also, I believe, I've not seen a tweet about it, but apparently he's mentioned like somewhere that he was very disappointed in the fan base that did the kicking.
Dan Hammond's already talked about how he wishes he could distance himself from a large portion of the fan base who are just utter cunts.
Yeah. And it's weird because, again, rewind to series 2, and I'm not saying like, oh, well, back when we were fans. Like, I'm saying like, rewind to series 2. No, but like, rewind to series 2, the fan base for Rick and Morty was like, oh my god, have you seen this show? It's really cool. Yeah. It's very clever, but it's also really dumb, and it's got some cool sci-fi ideas, and it's very dark, and yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. Here, watch this. Do you know what I mean?
There's just a lot of people being terribly obnoxious about it.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
This seems to happen in every fandom, and with Rick and Morty, it's happened so early in its life. It's really upsetting, and it will damage it. Friend of the show, Kadikarus, said the other day, I've always wanted to watch it. Now I've seen this, I don't want to go near it.
No.
And I've said to him, like, I urge you to check it out in your own time. Don't even post you've watched it. Just, you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because you'll definitely dig it.
You don't have anything to prove to anyone.
Yeah, just you watch it. Don't even mention it, because you're gonna get people who are genuinely like myself with this sort of going, oh cool, I'm glad you enjoyed it, or hey, have you watched it yet? But then you'll get the people who are like, and you're like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. One article, I can't remember where it was, but one article summed it up beautifully. They said the people who were dickheads on this day, the fans that overreact in general, either at this event or elsewhere, Comic-Cons who are obnoxious to people, those fans who are aggressive and toxic, and sort of do that thing of, I love it the most, look at me!
Yeah.
I'm Mr. I love it, look at me! Those fans are missing the point of the show entirely. Rick is not a nice person.
Nope.
If you're acting like Rick, you're not a nice person. If you're walking into a McDonald's asking for your Szechuan sauce, Morty, Szechuan sauce, and the McDonald's people going, really sorry, like, we didn't participate, and then you're yelling at them for it, you are not a nice person.
Here's a tip. If you go into a retail or service establishment, restaurant, coffee shop, anything like that, and you go to the counter and you ask for something, and for reasons beyond their control, the assistant, supervisor, whoever's behind that counter dealing with you, that human being, probably in a uniform shirt, possibly wearing an apron and a name tag, in some unfortunate cases, maybe even wearing a hat. If that person cannot fulfill your needs through no fault of their own, don't fucking yell at them. Don't be a dick. Don't castigate someone for something that they have no control over. Don't go in there and be a shitheel to someone who's on minimum wage just trying to get fucking by working a job they probably don't want to do because some fucking idiot in a boardroom is miscalculated and they don't have what you want. Don't you dare go into someone's place of work and harass them because you can't get what you think you're entitled to because you are a self-centered, stuck-up little cunt. Don't you dare! Of course, if you listen to this, that probably doesn't apply to you, so don't worry about it.
Incidentally, you can buy the Szechuan sauce packets for $750 and upwards on eBay.
Yeah.
God. For those Rick and Morty fans in the US who want to partake in this weird little experiment from McDonald's and aren't twats, McDonald's have apologised for the limited run and have said that there is a future day where they are going to once again put it out in a higher supply at more stores. They have also asked that people be respectful when they participate in the event next time. I think some stores have outright said, if you show up in costume, for example, we are not assuming you're like over the top or anything, but we're going to politely decline you entry because we don't want to turn this into a thing. It's a fun promotion.
Yeah.
We don't want it to, like, maybe, you know, you might show up in costume because you're just enthusiastic and you want to take photos of the Szechuans or whatever. That's cool. But we need to unfortunately take precautions this time because of the behaviour of some people at certain stores last time.
This is why we can't have nice things, because some people are cunts.
But you know who aren't? You lot. You've been getting in touch with the show with the lovely little cheeky little emails. And also over on Twitter, I put out just before we started recording, if you've seen the trailers that we're going to talk about in Blade Runner.
Have you got a tweet?
We've got a few tweets, son!
So tweet me before I hit the email.
So Connor Zomspon, which I think is probably his Halloween name because it's a zombie twist. Conman1997 on Twitter.
Spoopy.
Says Blade Runner 2049 was great.
Yes, it was.
Until Rick Deckard showed up, and then it went rapidly downhill and didn't recover. Fair enough. Like, it's probably that they... Do you know what? I could get that. Because it's like, I think they were enjoying the movie they were watching. And then it sort of becomes, oh, and this is now tied to the original. And maybe that made them, like, not enjoy it. So fair enough. Like, it's a shame you didn't enjoy it. Although a Twitter account called Rick Deckard liked that tweet immediately
Brilliant.
afterwards.
Brilliant.
So you've got a Blade Runner on your case. I think Connor might be a replicant.
Rick agrees with you.
Dan OP says, haven't seen Blade Runner 2049 yet, and I'm avoiding The Last Jedi trailer like Anakin avoiding sand. As the director,
gets everywhere.
As the director, Ryan Johnson, said, it gives too much away.
And
so
it's
fair enough.
irritating.
It's coarse.
That's
Rob.
definitely a Star Wars trailer.
Justice League looks good, though. I'm starting to see Joss Whedon's influence, which is usually good. Yep, definitely in front of the camera. So yeah.
Why is everyone in? Why can't anyone in Hollywood keep it in their fucking pants, man?
But at least Dan Opie's looking forward to Justice League a bit more now with that new trailer.
Yes, we're glad about this.
Spooktacular TNP, our old pal, Nublar T, says, loved the film. The holograms look incredible. But Harrison looks so confused the entire film. Well, he wasn't in the entire film, so I think you were watching Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
He's probably stoned.
To be fair.
This is Harrison Ford.
You're a teacher? Part-time.
He's probably stoned.
But yeah, so that's mostly positive reaction to the movie. So I'm glad that people enjoyed it too. That's fun. What have we got in the emails, you warm, dripping curtain?
I need a voice for Ian.
Harrison Ford's forced narration from the Blade Runner cinematic release.
This actually fits this email quite well. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand geek culture. The humor is extremely subtle. Without a solid grasp of theoretical physics, most of the jokes will go over a typical viewer's head.
Oh, God. Please tell me
There's also its nihilistic outlook, which is deftly woven into its characterization. Its personal philosophy draws heavily from Narnia Volya literature, for instance. If fans understand this stuff, they have the intellectual capacity to truly appreciate the depths of these jokes, to realize they're not just funny. They say something deep about life. As a consequence, people who dislike geek culture truly are idiots. Of course, they wouldn't appreciate, for instance, the humor in geek culture existential name Geek Culture, which itself is a cryptic reference to Turgenev's Russian epic Fathers and Sons.
Okay, I'm feeling the sarcasm dripping off of this now.
I'm smirking right now. Just imagining one of those addle-pated simpletons scratching their heads in confusion as genius unfolds itself on their television screens. What fools. I pity him. Yes, by the way, I do have a geek culture tattoo. No, cannot see it. It's for the ladies' eyes only. And even they have to demonstrate they're within 5 IQ points of my own. Preferably lower. Beforehand.
Jesus Christ.
Ian.
Oh, God. I'm so glad that wasn't serious, because for a split second I was having a heart attack.
I need a voice for Dan.
Culturally insensitive, is that okay?
No.
Good, because I was going to say the guy who makes the
not
eyes.
Okay. It's not okay. This is not okay, Chris. This is 2017. We don't do yellow voice.
Jared Leto flitting between Wallace in Blade Runner 2049 and the Suicide Squad Joker. You can choose when to switch.
What's meats?
Was that the email?
That's the question.
What's oo meats?
Yeah.
It's just a thing I say.
It's not the question, it's a question.
It's just a thing I say. I say oo meats and oo mince. To dissect its origins would be pointless and probably take half an hour, but it's just stupid.
And are there any Doctor Who scenes you find embarrassing, cringeworthy? For me, it's during the waters of Mars when Tennant's running around shouting stuff like, I'm gonna win. Dan Rawlings.
I can't think of anything in the new series that makes me go, oh, like cringe.
The entirety of the Monsters.
I'm not even gonna... Well, no. To tell a lie, I do enjoy Love and Monsters, but the paving slab moment and joke does make me go, "Oh, really?"
See, that's
I think the negative emotion I get with Doctor Who, modern Doctor Who's like stuff in series 6, 7, 8.
See that,
and especially 9 makes me go, "Oh, for rather than cringe." But the majority of Sylvester McCoy's first season. Costume choices, performance choices, certain things in that first series. Yeah.
All choices
like
that were made.
There is stuff in that makes me go, oh, really? Oh, God. Then you get those hints of, actually, no, that's kind of cool. Like, oh, that's really sinister. Like, those old ladies are basically cannibals. They're going to eat you, Mel.
Oh,
like,
Paradise Towers is great.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. Richard Brye's in
sorry.
zombie mode.
Sorry.
Richard Brye's in zombie mode.
Let me retort. Yes, it is.
Alright, well, I'll give you a pass this week, Sonny Jim. And there's certain bits in the 80s stuff where I go, oh, that's a bit shit. Oh, why are you doing that?
Just the whole of Love and Monsters, though.
No, there are worse. I'm
that
sorry.
paving slab moment is just the fetid cherry on a mouldy cake.
That gorgeous moment where, like, Jackie confronts Alton after she's seen the photo in his jacket, and she basically says, like, no, you didn't think, did you? Because nobody ever thinks about the ones who are left behind. That bit of dialogue is gorgeous and performed so well by Camille Kajori. It is. It bloody well is.
Yeah, but Mark Warren, though.
Mark Warren's adorable. His character isn't always necessarily good, but he plays a wonderful simpleton who's genuinely a good person really well in that story.
Cringeworthy simpleton.
Next week's guest is Mark Warren. We'll be getting him on to... His weirdest performance to me is as Tiatomy in Hogfather.
It's terrible!
Because I don't know, there's a couple of moments where he's good, but you think, this is... Someone should have said, maybe try this.
He's admitted that he watched Johnny Depp in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and just did that.
Oh, in which case then it's indefensible. Oh, that's a shame.
Which is a shame because some of Hogfather is really good.
Yeah.
That, not so much.
The best Discworld adaptations of the video games and the two animated movies from Channel 4 in the 90s.
Yes.
Well, miniseries.
Yeah.
Weird Sisters and Soul Music.
Yes.
They're really good.
We need more Discworld.
Yeah, Christopher Lee voices death in them, and it's really, really good.
Ian Richardson in Hogfather, isn't it?
In Hogfather and Going Postal. But by the time...
I've forgotten about Going Postal.
Yeah, but by the time they did Colour of Magic, he passed away, and Christopher Lee reprised the role from doing it in the animated ones.
Yeah, that's good.
We should do a Discworld episode. I need to read more, really, for us to justify it.
Most of them.
I've read Colour of Magic, and I've read... all of the Nat McFeagle, Amazing Marie's teenage
See, I've not read
ones.
any of the teenage young adult ones, but I've read the majority of the main series.
Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents is great. And is weird because apparently there is a reference to him in one of the Discworld books, like 10 years before he even wrote Amazing Maurice. There's a reference to like a cat.
Pratchett does that shit all the time.
So he's obviously had that idea and gone, I'll get back to that at some point. It's like, oh shit. Like someone's doing something this, that, or the other, and there's a cat with these mice nearby or whatever, and the cat, like, responds to the character, and they go, oh, alright, thanks. And then they, like, gives them directions or something. And it's like, okay. And then obviously later on you're like, oh shit, that was Maurice. Okay.
That's rather fabulous.
Oh, man, he's great. You know, weirdly, considering I've not read them all, we used to have a Discworld calendar every year. Those beautiful painted ones. Fucking gorgeous. You ever see them?
Wait, original Paul Kidby art, or?
Not the original books. It's the stuff that came around in the 2000s. Where, like, the later books had utilised
kind of the same style as they did for The Last Hero.
Yes!
Yeah.
I've got The Last Hero somewhere, actually. It went missing when I moved to London. Like, I've not found it since getting all my stuff back.
It's very good, The Last
Hero. So my mum and my stepdad must have it somewhere. But yeah, the front cover, that's fucking hilarious. He's just in bearing, and he's like gurning, and he's got the weapons. It's just this old, frail, pudgy guy.
You're knocking around somewhere. I've got the graphic novel adaptations of Mort and Guards. Oh,
I'd love to read. Those are sequels to each other, aren't they? Like those ones.
No. They're completely unrelated. Completely.
What am I thinking? There's a couple that are like direct sequels, aren't they?
Yeah, there's this sub-series within Discworld.
Yeah, because like Rincewind pops up in a few different ones.
There's a series of Rincewind books,
and a couple of the Death books. The more Death-centric ones are tied into each other.
Mort is the first of the Death series of books, which is like Mort, Soul
Soul
Music,
Music.
Hogfather.
Because Soul Music introduces...
Reaper Man.
What's his daughter? Is it
Susan.
Susan. Why do I think
Susan.
Cassandra?
Mort is Susan's father.
Susan. Right, okay. Why don't I think Cassandra? Who's Cassandra?
And then
Cassandra is a character in... I think it's Ubos who looks like how Susan looks in the Channel 4 animated thing. I'm confusing them in my head. Yeah.
No,
Hey, the 90s!
Guards,
do you remember the 90s?
is the first of the Night's Watch.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I knew that was a
Which
series.
is like Guards, Men at Arms, Feet of Clay, Jingo. I think it's probably the most popular.
Yeah.
There's the most
in Discworld, Discworld itself.
I think there's more.
Because I was going to say there was a good like 3 or 4 Knack Fiegel, We Free Men teen spin-offs.
I think.
And then there's
there's
not pre-Discworld, but like separate from Discworld. But before he did Discworld novels aimed at teens, there's the Diggers trilogy.
Diggers, Wings,
Truckers,
Johnny and the Bomb, Johnny and the Dead.
Johnny and the Dead.
Yeah,
I read Johnny and the Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh snap! Pratchett was amazing. We should do a Pratchett themed ep at some point.
Yeah.
I might have to bone up a bit more.
I might.
You bring your books. I'll rewatch all the animated. I'll rewatch all the animated stuff, and I'll brush up on the adaptations.
I'll do what I can.
That'll be fun. I've got to go and post one here somewhere as well. It looks like a parcel, the DVD cover.
Fantastic.
Really cool. Sorry,
anyway,
tangents, everybody.
2 more emails.
Yeah.
Oh god, we passed the 2-hour mark. Jesus.
Back on form.
Right, let's get these. Dear Chris and Matt.
Oh my god. Is that the shiver down my spine I feel when Tom Monty rises from his weekly grave?
I sincerely apologise for my failure to complete your homework assignment from last week that consisted of watching Blade Runner. I understand that film will be of significance in this podcast.
You probably figured that out by now.
I was just too busy this week and sort of forgot you had asked when
you
I
probably
started writing this email. Instead, I've used this week's procrastination time to watch Torchwood Children of Earth again, and blimey, it's good.
It is. It's the finest bit of BBC One sci-fi produced in the last decade or so.
I assume you two have watched it.
Oh god, yeah.
What do you think of it? What he said.
Yeah. Did you watch on broadcast?
Yes.
Yeah, it was amazing. On broadcast, it was incredible.
Yeah, it was very good.
Like, tuning in every night for those 5 nights in a row to catch the next part was amazing. Torchwood Children of Earth is, like, for all of Torchwood's faults, even though I do enjoy all of it, apart from chunks of Miracle Day, for all of Torchwood's faults, Children of Earth is a phenomenal piece of work. As a drama and as a sci-fi, it's just great.
What's your favourite aspect of it?
Seeing how the country politically and within government would have to deal with the alien ransom sort of situation, and the weight that it puts on certain people, like Jack and his daughter and his grandchild, and specifically like thingy Frobisher's role in it, John Frobisher, Peter Capaldi's role, like that is harrowing to watch. Like the fact that he's basically the responsibility's being thrust on this guy almost as a scapegoat. Like that's the way they do that is amazing. It's almost like the Prime Minister's vetoing any responsibility, but you deal with this. And the weight it has on him, and obviously the unfortunate, horrific results of that upon him and his family is great, and is still to this day the finest Doctor Who related work Capaldi's been involved in.
How did you feel about that main character's death?
I think we can talk about the spoilers of Children of Earth, considering it's 8 years old.
Yeah, that was just phrased.
Yanto's death is
Well, it sucks for Yanto.
Sucks for Yanto, and the moment's played beautifully by Barrowman and Gareth David Lloyd. Is that his name, Gareth David Lloyd?
I think so.
It's played beautifully by them, and I do think it's a sweet kind of after effects / fan joke that there is a shrine to him in Cardiff, which has recently had a new sign put in. So obviously Cardiff Council are like, yeah, we're going to look after this. I hate that people who really overdo it and go like, oh my god, OMG, Yanto! It's like, calm the fuck down. It happened 8 years ago and it was effective in the moment, but stop like going, oh my god, I can't believe Yanto died. Now 8 years on, calm down. But yeah.
I watched Yanto's mission. I can believe Yanto died.
And also there's a tradition by this point. Like, Series 2 killed off Tosh and Owen.
Yeah.
Like, killed off Owen twice. So,
yeah.
like, I was expecting someone to die in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those Torchwood teams, they don't last.
They don't last.
Peter Bacaldi.
Peter
really
Bacaldi?
shone in this.
Peter Caprison.
Yeah, he's Pickle Pete.
Pete Sweetmeat.
I felt more attached to his character in this than I do the 12th Doctor. It sort of makes me sad that Russell T Davies didn't get to write for the 12th Doctor, if this is the sort of work he could get out of Capaldi. Oh, and that reminds me. We never did get that explanation for why the Doctor had John Frobisher's face like Moffat said we would, unless he chooses to surprise us this Christmas.
No, they won't bother. He had Kai Kilius's face, that's it. It wasn't John Frobisher's face.
All the best. Tom. Monty.
Tom. Monty. So, Juggernaut's great. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's pretty great.
Final email.
I recommend you watch it in over 5 nights as well. Don't binge it. Watch it.
Yeah.
Over 5 nights. Who's the final email from? Good sir. Good sir.
It's from Luke, and I've been instructed to read it in the voice of what I think he sounds like.
Okay.
I have no idea what he sounds like.
Is this Ginger Luke?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've met him.
Yeah.
I will not confirm or deny what his real voice sounds like. I will just go off your approximation.
Well, that's what I'm just gonna ignore that completely.
Okay.
And do a voice.
Oh, so not what you think he sounds like, but what you think he should sound like, were he to pick a new voice.
Hi, big damn cast! I haven't done much recently. I've just been listening to the audiobook version of Matt Lucas's autobiography. I've just been added to the callbacks list of my school's productions of High School Musical, and I am looking forward to find out what role I will be given. Do you guys have any interesting stories about working on amateur productions? I'm going to see Spamalot in Wolverhampton tomorrow. Have any of you seen any versions of Spamalot? What are the 3 movies you'd like to see turned into musicals, and 3 that you'd hate to see? See you all next week! Ta-ta!
He waved as he said that. That's a lot of questions. Let's break it down. What was the first one? Have you been involved in any amateur productions?
Oh, first, congrats on High School Musical. Hope
Absolutely, yeah.
Hope you get a plum part.
Yeah.
I
mean, to be fair, whatever part you get, just have fun.
Interesting stories about working on amateur productions. We did a fair few student productions, didn't we?
Yeah. In fact, our college did High School Musical the year after we left.
Yeah.
And I was working with the guys who filmed it at that point. Taped the shows. So I saw Pendleton students put on High School Musical. I was like, this is weird. Like, there is nothing relatable really in this in Britain.
No,
aside from the basic stereotypes.
It's very American.
It was really strange, but yeah. So I hope you guys have fun doing it. I hope you have a blast with it because it's very cheesy. Yeah, we've had. I think we've both had a fair experience with sort of amateur productions and small scale productions of stuff.
I've had fun times, but nothing particularly exciting has happened on them. Like, it's not like
no big stories really.
Yeah.
I think my favourite. Well, this is sad. My favourite story related to those things is when we first joined college. You were in production of Les Mis.
Yep.
In the Eccleston Theatre.
Yes. Named
named after you know who. And I was in the theatre across the road in the Kingsley Theatre, named after you know who. Picture Dorian Gray. And
Sir Ben.
I'm an actor. So you guys were on just I think a week before us. You put on Les Mis,
Yeah.
and then we went out the week after. And I saw Les Mis, and I'd seen you around because Matt was musical theatre, I was performing arts. So
Not to see me around.
we occupied the same halls and classrooms and stuff, but we never really crossed paths. But you couldn't miss him. He was this big, booming, very rock-voiced god of a man with lush mane
I had
of hair.
lovely long hair back then as
He had
well.
a mane of hair, which I think I mean, knowing you probably would have grown it anyway, but you definitely grew it and kept it long for Valjean because you had it in like the pony. And it really, And when you're like 24601 and everything is all down, and it really suited the aesthetically. You fucking look the part.
You look great with long hair.
You were in your early 20s playing someone who's meant to be like their late 40s, and you like that look helped sell the idea of a man who had lived longer. Do you know what I mean? No, but you know what I mean. Though it's like the hair and beard sells it, as daft as it sounds. So
I sold the hair and beard as well.
But I saw it. I fucking fell in love with you, and I thought you were amazing. So when you came to see Dorian the week after,
I never let him touch me,
and you caught me after. I think you waited behind. Yeah. Like, with some of the other students to, like, talk to us and stuff. And you were like, mate, you were really good. And in my head I was like, oh, thanks. Like, I was proper fanboying. Because Valjean was telling, and I'd seen you the week before, and I was going, you're fucking amazing.
And he's never stopped fanboying.
That's true. But that's, that's my story about amateur productions. I was fanboyed over Matt, and here I am now, still fanboying over him, except now I can touch his penis.
No, he can't.
I can't touch his penis.
I don't have any interesting stories about amateur productions, really. I just had a good time on them.
Yeah. That's the thing. Put your all into it and have fun.
Yeah.
Because you look back at it and go, do you know what, that was great.
Spamalot, have you seen it?
I've never seen it. I'm a big Python fan, I've never seen it.
I have seen it.
Is it good? Is it bad?
Didn't particularly care for it.
Interesting. It's the Eric Idle show, isn't it, basically? Yeah. And Eric Idle is a bit touch and go based on what his project is afterwards.
Like, this is the song that goes like this is a decent gag.
Yeah.
The title number is pretty great.
Is there a version of Camelot in it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. The That's the Round Table.
Yeah.
Okay. I would be a bit confused if that wasn't in there. This shows you how little I know about it. I'm now going, oh my god, I don't know anything. Like the Sir Robin verses mixed into it and stuff. Okay.
The Black Knight's in it.
Okay.
They do that scene.
Three-headed knight and stuff, and the bridge, and Tim the Enchanter, and
the Knights Who Say Knee.
Yeah.
That's all in there.
I've got the DVD version of Not the Messiah, which is basically an Albert Hall concert of Python music, and it's sort of like a version of Life of Brian told as a spoken concert.
Yeah.
And that's fun because it's this weird experiment. It's like an hour-long version of Life of Brian as a spoken word with songs, and other Python songs are mixed in, and they do other stuff. But I've never had any urge to actually go and see Spell. I nearly saw it when Dick and Dom were in it.
That's when I saw it.
Is that when you saw it? How were they?
They were fine.
No, don't hold back. Like, no. I'm not like, I've got them on speed dial,
I
but
saw
yeah.
I think it was the last night I saw him on, actually.
Because I remember them being cast, I was like, because it was during this period where they were cycling through guest actors a lot.
Yeah.
I think just to sort of give it that flavour of, let's see what it's like with this.
No, they were fun. It's just not a very funny show.
Yeah, because Richard was Arthur, wasn't he? And Dom was Patsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw the promo photo and I was like, oh my god, he looks like a Patsy.
Yeah.
Like
he does.
He's pulling this off well.
But like I say, like
wasn't Warwick Davis Arthur at one point? I think he has been. Tim Curry was when it started, like 15 years ago, wasn't it?
Arthur for a little bit.
Yes, he was. Yeah. Yeah, and like different people have played God, like John Cleese has voiced God, and I know there's been some productions where they managed to create all of God's lines using Graham Chapman audio.
Oh,
so that he has been in it.
That's
like
quite
in some
smart,
way,
yeah.
the same way that like when they do the producers, one of the people in Springtime for Hitler always mimes to Mel Brooks saying, "Don't be stupid, be a smarty, come and join the Nazi party," so that Mel Brooks is in it. So yeah. Okay, that's thoughts on Babble-On.
Yeah, it's just not a very funny show.
Three films we'd like to see turn into musicals. There's one that I would love to see, but so much so that I've already started to plan how it would work and don't want to say because I want to see if it works.
I don't think I want to see any films.
I've told you about that, haven't I?
Musicals.
I've told you about that, haven't I? Which one I think would make a good sort of like spectacle musical if it was done a certain way.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you're absolutely right.
It'd be fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I don't want to say it because I don't want to be like, here's my idea! In case someone goes, you're right, I'm going to take that elsewhere.
You're right, kid, we're going to take it to Hollywood, we're going to be a star! See?
I'd love to see a slasher flick turned into a musical in the style of like Toxic Avenger and Evil Dead, where its tongue is firmly in its cheek. But it would have to be a smaller production. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could do like a Friday the 13th or something like that as a 1 act, hour and 20 minute long.
The Fly, the musical.
The Fly! That'd be great! Oh my god, that'd be so much fun. Seriously, that'd be great. Like a B movie or a slasher flick turned into a 1 act musical.
I was a fly.
because I've seen it.
dreaming I was a man.
Help me! That's the final number.
Now the dream is over. And the insect is awake.
Buzz.
No, that would be fucking terrible.
As a one act like comedy horror night out.
I don't know, like
Because Hack Slash was turned into like a stage play / musical for like a short duration, just as a laugh. Like the idea was you came to see it, you witnessed gore, and because I've seen a production of Evil Dead that was taped. Someone put one on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was funny as hell. Like it was one of those where like if you didn't know Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2, you probably wouldn't get it all, but there was enough stupidity of it that you'd have a fun night. Whereas like if you were a fan of those movies, you would benefit so much because it was just a big love letter to them.
I would love,
but it shouldn't be a big thing.
I would love to see the Jim Steinman Batman musical.
Oh, the one that became
the one that
became Bat Out of Hell 3.
Some of it ended up on Bat Out of Hell 3.
And some of it, I imagine, is in Bat Out of Hell.
I don't know. I don't know how much new stuff's in that.
I know that there's a bit from what I've heard, like score-wise, like, interlinking and medley and things like that. So maybe, but that would be cool.
I would love to see that.
Although to transfer to things I'd like to never see as a musical, superhero stuff.
Yeah.
Superman did it in the 70s. It was bollocks, but it made a lot of money.
Yeah, well...
and Spider-Man did it most recently and still has not made its money back and killed people and is also dreadful. Here's a question, like, without naming names, in, like, your college and drama school years of people picking tunes, did anyone ever pick any Turn Off the Dark stuff?
No. It came out...
It was like 2010, 2011 was when it first rocked up.
Just after we left.
Yeah.
So
I just wondered if people were singing along to it in drama school and stuff.
I didn't see any of that stuff.
Have you heard
around.
Of it?
Yeah.
It's awful, isn't it?
It's fucking dire.
It's terrible.
I
sat down one night and read a breakdown of the plot of the show, both the original version and then the amended version. It's a terrible show. Like, it's Spider-Man as interpreted by somebody who saw the Sam Raimi movie and remembered some visuals from 90s comics. It's terrible. Like, it's really... Alan Cumming left it during previews, didn't he? It was originally Norman Osborn. And he left it because he went, this is fucking dreadful. He just left. He's like, no, I can't make this work. I don't care about being tied into this. I can't make this work. Goodbye. It's like, fair enough. Yeah. I think some promo pictures of him exist in, like, full-on goblin and everything. And that's it. That's as far as he got before he went, bye! Anything superhero should not be turned into a musical. With the exception of Batman as a rock opera. Because that could be really freaking cool.
Yeah.
Considering it nearly was a thing.
To get a taste of what it might be like, get Bat Out of Hell 3, the Meatloaf album. It's not very good.
Bat Harder.
The Monster is Loose, it's called. And listen to In the Land of the Pigs, The Butcher is King, and Cry to Heaven, because they're both songs from the Batman that were originally works for the Batman musical.
And the Land of the Pigs, The Butcher is King.
In the Land of the Pigs, The Butcher is King!
I wonder who would have sung that.
That's how... apparently it was like a corrupt Gotham official.
Fair enough.
The Joker did have a song in it.
He did?
Subtitled, Where Does He Get All Those Wonderful Toys?
Great. Oh, fuck yeah. If you're going to rock opera Batman, definitely take some influence from the Burton movie.
There's demos of it floating around out there, so I might have a poke around and see what I can find. Any three that we'd hate to... I can't think of anything I'd like to see or hate to see turn into a musical. Like, just don't. Some rom-coms have been turned into musicals quite successfully.
Rom-coms could work, but at the same time, it's the sickly sweetness thing, isn't it?
It's weird as fuck.
And please stop making jukebox musicals. I know I say this. I know I say this in a world where like Bat Out of Hell's doing well, but please
I think of that.
Stop jukebox musicals because
Bat Out of Hell is doing well, but by all accounts, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, you're forcing it. Like that thing I would like to adapt has 2 songs in it.
Yeah,
in its original version that naturally you would bring across, but like there's room to create brand new stuff that makes that work. Whereas like if you're going, oh my god, we're going. I mean, Christ's sake, I love Queen. I will never watch We Will Rock You.
Fuck that.
If I want to hear Queen music live, I'll stick on the freaking live at Wembley or live at the freaking the Kent what's the thingy bowl one? Oh god, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but like Milton Keynes Bowl, that's right. Like I will watch that. I'll watch them play live in archive footage. Or if a band wants to cover it while I'm at a gig, great, I'll listen to it. I'm not interested in watching a bunch of people in it's a corrupt society, it's the music's been removed from the world, and but don't worry, we're going to meet the killer queen. It's like, fuck off and die. Sorry, I went internet there
one of my singing teachers used to tell the story of to illustrate why jukebox musicals are terrible. He used to tell the story of Tonight's the Night, the jukebox musical, which is about Rod Stewart songs.
Yeah,
which has because they couldn't work out a way to fit it in. Literally has someone come on stage at one point with a phone and say, "Hey everybody, Rod's calling us from his boat, and he wants to sing us a song." And then it goes into sailing.
Seriously?
Yeah.
There's a bit in the musical where Rod just calls someone from a boat and they sing "Sail."
Yeah.
Mamma Mia.
I can't
stand it.
Mamma Mia. I really like those songs. I like all those songs.
See, I'm polar opposite. Like, I get why I admire the craft and the songwriting and everything, but like, I really don't like listening to ABBA myself.
I don't want to listen to it, but like, I get.
So the idea of seeing Mamma Mia is already nightmarish to me in a way. But like, why? Why? There were quite a few ones like What's the one that was turned into a film? Tom Cruise and freaking
Rock of Ages.
Rock of Ages. No, Go Away From Me. Like the thing is, these are amazing songs.
Musicals that adapt rock and punk music never work.
Yeah,
American Idiot's fucking terrible.
God, they performed the opening.
Really
was it on the Tonys a couple of years ago? They did the opening, like they did American Idiot.
Yeah.
I was watching it. I was like, here's the thing. I love doing musicals. I love doing musicals. Yeah. I love seeing musicals. But do you know one musical pet peeve I've got that really knocks me sick weirdly? You talk about cringy things. Yeah. Whenever I see a trailer for a musical, for some reason it just makes me feel sick. I don't know what it is. Like, being there, seeing it live, love it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, seeing a version of it performed in a variety show, like, freaking Aladdin shows up on the Royal Variety or whatever.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Love it. Being in it, partaking in it, doing rehearsals, fucking love it. But whenever I see a trailer, I always want to punch someone. I don't know why. Or certain posters. When the posters sort of have that like, oh, what are we doing? Kind of thing. I'm like, oh god. I once tweeted about it for, what was that freaking, was it Geek Town? Something like that? Was it called Loserville, that was it. I remember tweeting about that once in London, like in 2010. I said the poster makes me want to punch people. And that was when I discovered that, oh yeah, everybody can read Twitter and people are narcissists because the cast found the tweet and started saying, "Cheers, mate, thanks very much." I was like, I feel like a dick now. I wasn't saying I want to punch you, I'm saying the poster makes me want to punch the post.
Those posters were infuriating.
Oh, they were horrible. Yeah, it was twee as fuck. It's like, hey, here's Newsies, but we're going to inject even more twee into it.
Oh, man.
But yeah. So when I see like the jukebox stuff and all this, I'm just like, oh, please stop. It's the same kind of feeling. It's like, what are you doing? An American Idiot, the opening of that and that performance, I was like, oh, I love this album, and you're making me hate this song.
It makes me a little sick in my mouth.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's not good.
It's weird.
It's not
good.
Musicals,
the way
are just
the news goes.
Musicals, like they can be adapted, but
I'm also kind of against adapting properties because most of the time it's ineffective and it just is crap.
Yeah.
I recently saw a musical that is an adaptation of a very well-known property, and everybody was giving it their all, but it's not a good book.
No.
And the songs aren't good. There's like 2 songs in it that are good.
Yeah.
And the rest are just fine.
That's my problem.
And everyone's giving it their fucking all. I was like, I wish you guys were in a better show. I really do.
I found when people have adapted known properties to musicals.
Yeah. This is why I don't want to say mine, because I'm like, I would work my arse off to make this work. And before I even show it to anyone, I'd be like, does this work? No, it doesn't. I'll abandon it now.
You have to change the story structure of stuff to fit it into the musical structure and insert songs and dance numbers, and it just... Not every story holds up to that. And to be fair, like we mentioned, like the Batman and the Spider-Man musicals, like you're taking a concept and making a story around it. So that could work. Like, there's nothing wrong with the theoretical idea of a Spider-Man musical. Every decision they made in the execution of that turned out to be a fucking terrible idea.
It to the point of life and death situations.
Yeah. And the Batman musical never got off the ground. So you know.
But then again, it was a rock opera. So like, there's sort of a different kind of vibe there. But yeah, it's the same principle.
It doesn't. Most things don't lend themselves to musical adaptation. I don't think.
No, except for my idea, which would be fucking Boss. He says, not saying anything.
It
about
would be
it out
Boss.
loud.
I know what it is.
Because you could use the structure of the thing.
Yeah. I know it would definitely.
But then pull from the original.
It would definitely work.
Okay, I'm not getting big-headed about it. But
it would definitely work.
So yeah. Speaking of definitely work. This plug will. Check us out on YouTube throughout the week. Big Damn Cast, of course, Big Damn Channel on YouTube, where you can catch Adventures in Backlogging. Matt, you're about to head into a bunch of Halloweeny games.
Yes, going up. This will be going up on Thursday night iTunes, Friday on YouTube. So you will be able to see my first.
You'll have already seen me finish Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, the epic,
finally,
the epic freaking thingy. So
23 episodes of Red Dead Redemption.
If you've never played it and you want to get a taste of it before you all start pre-ordering the second one, give it a watch. Matt has chronicled. Was it how many? 23?
23 episodes.
23 episodes. Matt has completed the main story and had a bit of diversion. I've joined him along the way.
Yeah.
We've got some Halloweeny content.
We're delving into some tricks and treats.
Women's.
So I'm just doing little bite-sized bits of whatever's in my horror folder on my PS3 hard drive. Starting with
spam a lot.
Starting with Siren Blood Curse, which is a Japanese survival horror game from around 2008, which was originally released episodically. Like it's 12 episodes, and you could download in the individual episodes one by one.
That's freaky.
But I've got all of them. So yeah, it's interesting. And worth a look. But so I'm going to do a bunch of those, and let me know if there's any of them you'd like to see me play to completion anytime soon. Otherwise, I'll just choose the next one I play fully in November, and we'll see. It'd probably be something a lot shorter than Red Dead, let's put it that way.
How long's the campaign? 8 hours.
Yeah,
perfect.
Cool. How long to finish is going to be my favourite website for this endeavour.
You can also catch us on Twitter as per usual, Big Damn Cast, over on the bigdamnblog.tumblr.com for snippets of fun, little articles and collections of our videos in case you missed anything. You know the drill. We'll see you next week. Send us some emails, bigdamcontact@gmail.com. Your thoughts on Blade Runner 2049 if you see it in betwixt. And
my thoughts on Blade Runner 2049, send me them as well.
Yeah. But until next time, I'll leave you with this sage piece of advice.